My people, my people, my people. What it do, what it do, what it do. 414 stand up. Foundational Black Americans stand up. It's Outlaw Radio. Divided we stand on a Wednesday evening in March 5th to be exact, 2025. Yes, all of a sudden it's 2025. Where does the time go? Welcome to the show. I'm sure this will be another in a long line of interesting shows, a lot of conversation, a lot of conversing to be done, a lot of things to talk about. We will never run out of things to talk about at the pace that we're going in this country, politically, socially, socio-politically, right? My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the host of Outlaw Radio. Just in case you have not heard of this platform or have never watched it before, this is a show that is dedicated to foundational Black Americans. I am a proud representative of the delineation movement. If you don't know what that is, go and look it up. It's common knowledge. It's very easy to understand. And people ask me all the time, since I guess they would define me as a content creator now, like, well, what do you talk about on Outlaw Radio? And I always answer with some very simple words. Black people shit is what we talk about. Things that are important to Black people. One thing about my culture and my community is that we all have opinions. Are they always heard? Probably not. But everybody usually has something to say, and they have a perspective that they would like to express, and especially with all that's going on in this divided state, these divided states of America. So if you want to get involved in the conversation, the phone number is 262-202-5131. Say that really slowly. 262-202-5131. My chat room is popping as usual. So if you want to get in where you fit in, just jump on in, right? And we'll try to get you involved as best as possible. But like I said, this is pretty guaranteed to be a pretty interesting show tonight. Just because I took my time in collecting information about what's really going on, and I want to check people's knowledge, because I know a lot of people talk and I know a lot of people have things to say, but do they know what they're talking about? Some people are nodding their head in conversations, but they don't really know what you're talking about. So, and that shows in the way we voted. So we're going to slow it down a little bit tonight and explain what some things are. Mr. Carter, how you doing tonight, my brother? What's going on with you? See if his audio is...
man, I'm all right. I'm all right, man. I'm ready to see what you got lined up for us.
A whole lot tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Might
got
have
you.
to let me warm up. I was just...
I got you. You got the delay as usual. I'm used to it now. I got to put you up on my secret on how to plug in so your connection.
Just give it a minute.
Yeah. But no, you know what? Like tonight,
I just need to really plug in early. That's all.
I want people to really participate in this conversation. I want people to participate all the time. People seem to have a lot of questions in the People's News Network. The People's News Network is our sister group. Shout out to everybody in there. I hadn't checked the membership. It's gone up over the last 2 months. And shout out to Anthony McGee, who is a chief administrator. I would say the chief administrator, because Anthony runs the ship and he plays no games when it comes to the People's News Network. So if you're in there, there's a lot of things in there, and you can go directly from the show to that group on Facebook and kind of cross-check facts and that kind of thing. So shout out to that group. I told you my chat room is popping. I see Jesse Parrish from out west in Denver, Colorado. Said, peace, Outlaws from the Mile High Income and soon to be arrested city. Shout out to you and Shabaka Sankor for Frontline Black News and the Revolutionary Agenda. He says, keep Lady Che in your thoughts and prayers. Absolutely. I hope she's doing well. Whatever health ailments or whatever tragedies or whatever it is that is weighing on her, may we pray to God that it be lifted. He said, hashtag I am not your enemy. I am not your enemy. As a black man, As a foundational black man, I find myself having to say this to my people all the time. I'm not your enemy. So, we have many other things that we should be concerned about other than fighting amongst ourselves, Kamar. So I'm not your enemy. Ewok in the building. He said, "Word to the mother." Ewok is, that's old school. You say word to the mother, right? He said a word to the mother. He said she just had hernia surgery. Okay. Prayers up, prayers up, prayers up for Lady Che out there dealing with a health calamity, as we call it. But yeah, man, if you want to chime in this conversation, please do. I welcome other perspectives and points of view besides my own. And you don't have to agree with me, just respect the platform. That's all I ask. Kamar, let's check your audio. How you doing tonight? I want to make sure you in the loop. So what's going on with you? You good?
I'm all right. How am I on time yet? I know you give me a minute to be on time.
It gets better. It gets better.
Yeah, you still listening. I'm gonna leave and come back. Try that.
There we go. We are so what's the big issue right now? The hottest news, right? Like we talk about what's important to black people. Like what are black people talking about? I know this speech last night, the Trump speech to Congress, is on everybody's mind because we talk about what is he saying? What did it mean? What does it mean to us? I think black people are in a holding pattern because there's a lot going on and there hasn't been the pointed, direct assault on us that many of us may have anticipated. I don't want anybody to be confused and believe for a second that Trump is not who he said he was in the first place. Trump is a racist. Don't get it twisted. He is an old white man, an old rich white man, and he moves like old rich white men move. That is a fact. So I don't want anybody to let your guards down. There's been some microaggressions. I would call them that. I would refer to them as that. I think most of the things that Trump is doing that affects people are things that hurt everybody. Because when you start upsetting the economy, you're hurting everyone. When you start tweaking people's wellness in terms of Medicaid and Social Security and federal aid and things of that nature, you're hurting everyone. It's not just black people that you're hurting. So this has been a different kind of energy that we've seen. And I think it's left people confused. There's a lot going on with our government that a lot of people were not aware of as far as the economy goes in terms of government wasting. We've known for a very long time that the government is very wasteful. We've heard for a very long time that government spending needed to be regulated. We've asked the question for a very long time that, how is it that in one of the, if not the richest country in the world, we have homeless encampments. We have people who don't eat, who go to sleep without eating. We have neighborhoods and communities that are underserved. And then you look and you see billions and billions and even trillions of dollars going elsewhere that's allocated for other things. We've often asked those questions. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I am a truth supporter. See, what you got to understand on this show is I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, so we can talk about it from both sides of the fence. I think they're both subject to criticism when it comes to their treatment of us. I don't think either party has necessarily ever operated with our best interests at heart. And I think it's great that people question. See, I'm not one of those people who gets mad at an individual for questioning things. I think you should absolutely question things. I don't think you should ever take what's said to you or what somebody tells you as, hey, this is the unadulterated gospel. I feel like anything someone tells you, you should go and check the facts. I believe you should not only check the facts, but you should check the source, right? Figure out who this person is. What gives you the authority? Who appointed you, right? Who made you the person that delivers the message? So I think it's great that people now are starting to learn things about the government that they did not know before. I think that's great. Shout out to you, Dre Day. He said, Outlaws, my brother. Thank you, sir. Welcome aboard. Y'all share this show. While I'm saying that, let me share the show. I know of people are in a lot of groups. I'm in a lot of groups, and I try to share the show in different groups across a broad spectrum of Black intellectualism and Black thought, because believe me, Black people vary in the way that they think and approach things. I think that, but it's time for those voices to be heard. For too long, there's been this misnomer that we are just kind of like go along to get along, and we are Velcro to the Democratic Party, and it's not true. Now, the way we vote says otherwise, because despite what a lot of people think, 80+% of Black people in this country still voted democratically for Kamala. But and I'm one of those people, because I was just anti-Trump, because I knew that this kind of upheaval and confusion would come with Trump becoming the president again. Now, I'm starting to look at it like, is this a bad thing? Because how do you change a system without upsetting it? You know, the mere fact that we demanded our rights a long time ago upset the system. It bucked the status quo. It made a lot of people uncomfortable. It made them say, whoa, hold on. We gonna give these niggers rights? We gonna let these colors do what they want to do? It upset the system. So are some of the things that have happened necessary? I believe so. But I always say, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I think what Trump is doing in terms of lying and saying anything off the cuff and disrespecting certain people and subjugating certain people is the wrong way to go about it. You can make change without putting your foot on somebody's neck, right? So we're going to talk about a lot of that tonight. I see y'all in the chat room. Armando Duckworth, my brother, how you doing? It's been a while. He said no party has our best interests in mind. That's what I totally agree with you. We say that all the time. For a very long time, our crew has been known as the party poopers. We poop on both parties because both of them have a lot of water that they carry. And most of it ain't for the Black community, right? Let's see. This is Dion. He said, what up, Kev? How you doing, my brother? My sister Sonia Thrower, I see you in the chat room. She said, hello, guys. Hello. She said, yes, it did. Yes, it did. I don't know what she's agreeing to because I run my mouth a lot. Hey, share the show. Share the show is what I say. I love the numbers. I love when I'm scrolling and I see people sharing our show. I love the fact that our show is considered one of the valid sources for information, especially in the 414. And that's all a result of you all, because I've seen people say, hey, what's a credible podcast in the city? And people throw Outlaw Radio out there. So shout out to y'all. Let me give y'all that. Kamar, let's see if you good, man. What's happening, man? What's going on?
I don't think I'm good because I'm watching you glitch a little bit still. So
okay.
That might mean it's still bad on my side. If you on time with me, then it's a different story.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good over here. As they say, I'm Gucci. I'm
still talking.
Yeah. See, we're getting mixed signals. Yeah, you got a delay. We got the delay. And I don't know your Wi-Fi setup, so I don't. You know, but we always make it work, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go along.
I'm just gonna second. Let my engine warm up. I'm warm up in my computer.
There you go. So I wanted to go. First of all, you hear tariff, you hear tariffs, and people say that's bad. Oh yeah, that's bad. But do people know what tariffs are? I don't know that everybody knows what a tariff is. And so I wanted to explain that a tariff basically is a tax that is placed on goods. So if someone's importing certain goods, there's a tax placed on those goods. And so basically, I like to simplify things. You're making money on top of money, right? And so because when you put the tax on it, just to bring it in, then you sell it, there's a tax on that, right? So we get taxed on our income. In Wisconsin, we do. So tax. That's the name of this game, and it's all about money. There's a global economy and there's a lot of global economic packages in which countries have sat down at tables and negotiated different terms. Trump has taken the tariffs to another level, because what he's saying is that we have been paying tariffs for our goods in other countries, but we don't charge the same kind of tariffs on people who import their goods to our country. There's some truth to that, and then there's some misnomers to that. We'll talk about that tonight. But I put in the People's News Network that there are some fact checkers who have done deep dives on some of the things Trump said last night, and I'm going to go over some of those. I'm going to go over some of those tonight because I have them in my talking points. Sonia says she shared it and she's watching down in Camden, Arkansas. I appreciate you, my sister. Shout out to you down in Arkansas. I know that you are 414 bred. Dion said, I'm not agreeing with that because the assistants, I think he meant assistants, some of us have used from unemployment, FHA loans, healthcare, Social Security, disability, and etc. Thank the Democrats. Well, I don't know why you attribute all of that to the Democrats, though, Dion. Why do you think that the Democrats are the pioneers of all this legislation? We've had these things for a very long time, and we've had Republicans, Republican presidents, Republican senators. I think you might be giving the Democrats a little bit too much credit. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some pivotal parts of these things that come into play, but I don't. Are you saying that the Democrats haven't done their fair share of damage to foundational Black Americans? Even in some of their wasteful spending, and while our community suffers, I think that's egregious as well. So I'm not ready to start waving the Democratic flag. Do you identify as a Democrat, Dion? I don't know. You said thank the Dems. Listen, everybody, this is our government is a gumbo. Everybody's thrown something into the pot. Everybody's contributed something into the pot. He said the Republicans have no policies. Okay. I don't think that you could say the Republicans over all these years don't have any policies, Dion. I think the Republicans do have policy. I don't know how you could be a political party and not have policy, especially to last hundreds of years. You muted, Kamar. You muted.
I was going to say it may not be the same parties you believe in, but they do have policies.
Right. There's well, you're looking at it right now. I mean, a policy is a policy whether you agree with it or not. You know what I'm saying? Are you saying you don't think that they have effective policies? Because they bring things to the table all the time. But then that's what I'm saying. I welcome people from all different perspectives, and my goal with Outlaw Radio was to create a safe space where we could talk about these things. And if you feel a certain way, 262-202-5131 is the number. Please feel free to call. Whether you agree with me or not, I shout out to the individuals because we've called for Black Trump supporters to call in and express their, why they felt like or feel like Trump and the Republican Party is good for us. I just look at it like the United States government, and Chris Rock said this one time, and we have a very tenuous relationship with the United States, especially as foundational Black Americans. He said it's like your uncle who molested you, but he paid for you to go to college. I still think the United States, for me, is the best place to be. I don't want to live in any other country. I don't want to move. And I take the good with the bad. I think anything that you partake in has good and bad. I don't know of anything that's 100% perfect. And I get upset when individuals who are politically affiliated try to make it seem like their side is 100% pure instead of admitting where they've made mistakes at, right? Like, because he's saying FDR was a Democrat who passed the Social Security Act. FDR did a lot of great things. He did a lot of great things. But I mean, you look at this might make a lot of people mad, but look at your boy Lyndon Johnson, who ultimately had to pass the Civil Rights Act. Now you could say that wasn't, he didn't want to do it and he had alternative. He signed it. He passed it. He was a Republican. He good, worse, bad, or indifferent. I could blame the Democrats for, we always talk about the criminal bill, the 94 crime bill. That was a Democratic initiative. You see what I'm saying about everything? LBJ, okay, he was a Democrat. Okay, I thought he was a Republican. My bad. See, I'm not even versed. Because I'm neither. So yeah, I'm not. A lot of people give Ronald Reagan, Obama himself gave Ronald Reagan, who I know was a Republican, he said that was his political hero. He said it was. I get LBJ mixed up because he was racist and he was a Southern man who had all kinds of negative shit to say about black people. So that's probably why I labeled him a Republican. But he was a Democrat. Okay. But like I said, there's good and bad. So I'm not carrying a flag for either party. If you want to, feel free, Dion. That's what you are consistent, if nothing else. I wanted to talk about some of the lies that were told last night, or some of the misleading information. This thing about Social Security. Let's talk about Social Security. Let's talk about the fact that there are so many people in this country who depend on Social Security to survive. Kamar, I'm of the belief that if you work hard and you pay your taxes for years and years and years, our country has a responsibility to take care of you when you're older and you are unable to continue to work and do what you used to do. There are a lot of elderly people who need that money to eat. When you start playing with it, and myself and you have been paying into this system since heaven knows when. So you're going to tell me when I get old, there's no safety net? What was that dead president's? When they gave him life, and he said, after all I did for this motherfucker, and you're gonna give me life? Right. And he threw the chair.
Look, and speaking of that, you know what I mean? Look at all the people, you know what I'm saying, that went to war for this country. And look how they've been treating them since when they come back over the years. You know what I mean? Like deny them with different shit and don't offer them, don't have no help ready for them. You know what I mean? A lot of them getting mentally fucked up when they come back. Ain't no help for that. You know what I'm saying? This country is just a history of throwing people away. Using the citizens and throwing them away.
Right. But the lie about 300-year-old people
right
getting Social Security, like you start, man. And then you come to find out that the Social Security has a kind of a protocol in which after I think it's 115 years old, it cuts off automatically. So if you are still alive, you got to basically call in to keep it going.
And hey man, I'm 130. I'm still alive, man.
Right now, there are some people who are listed on Social Security rolls that have not been reported deceased, and you can go back and say this person would be 100, 200 years old if they were still alive. But they're not receiving payments. There was a point when people over 100 were receiving a large amount of payments, but if you go back statistically at that time in the country, there were a number of citizens who were over 100 that were still alive. Right. So to say people are 300 years old still receiving Social Security checks, okay, so then where's the money going? Because if you can track fraud, you can track everything else.
Right.
Why can't you find out who's cashing that check for that 300-year-old? That should be easy as hell. Like, what bank is this check going to? And if there's nobody cashing the check, then there's a bank with a whole hell of a lot of money sitting there. That should be, I believe that's a red flag for a bank. So
straight up,
that's a misnomer. Once again, if you want to make change, but you don't have to lie and mislead the American people. And then with the whole thing about Ukraine, which I was forced to do a whole bunch of research on Ukraine. Ukraine is an agricultural contributor globally. They have a lot of agricultural industry that they contribute to. There's some minerals, some metals that they do. I don't think they do anything for America that we couldn't do for ourselves. And I was quite accurate in the fact that there is a culture of neo-Nazism in Ukraine. You can go and look that up. They have a pronounced problem with Nazism. As a matter of fact, Putin utilized that as one of the reasons that he wanted to invade Ukraine. He said he wanted to denaziize. He wanted to get rid of the Nazism. But there's a problem with it. There's a problem with it. So I wasn't off on that. I said I never look on the label of anything and see made in Ukraine. I don't, but I'm looking. When I find something, some food or some whatever, I'm gonna bring it on the show and say, hey, this is something we get from Ukraine. But so there's a misnomer about how much money we've actually contributed to Ukraine versus how much Europe has contributed in aid. Trump said $350 billion, right? But it's reportedly only 120 billion. And 126 billion. And I'm saying only. Can you imagine for some fruit and for some metal? We have contributed $126 billion in aid to this country. That's a whole lot of juice, Kamar. I don't think we'll ever drink that much juice. I don't think they send in that much fruit and vegetables to the United States. Globally, politically, they're saying, well, this is, we need to protect our interests in Europe. I think one of the things is we keep our mouth in Europe's business too much. We have issues in our own country. Give them some aid. But think about this number. It's a number that most of us can't comprehend. $126 billion. I'm going to say that number again, Kamar. $126 billion in aid we are providing to just Ukraine. But you got homeless encampments in this country. I know people say, well, Kev, that money's not as allocated. It's our money. We're taxpayers. We don't need to, because we're not the only country on this earth. Now, Europe has given more money than us. But Trump is saying, no, we haven't. No, we haven't. They haven't. Go ahead, Kamar.
I was finna say, man, it's kind of crazy because it's like they borrowing money to donate money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, because we owe the Chinese.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this big ass debt, but then y'all still, you know what I mean, sending money off. How about this? What if he did some shit like this? Like, look, we finna cut off all aid for this year to everybody. And we'll be back fucking with y'all next week, but we got to knock this debt off.
Right. We're going to balance the books.
You know what I'm saying? And then let's figure this shit out after that. Because I've been watching videos of Canada talking about how such good friends they are of us. Fuck Trump, though, but they love America. You know what I mean? So, okay, well, if everybody's such good friends, why can't we figure this shit out? But it's this airhead we got, you know what I mean, in office that don't have enough sense, you know what I'm saying, to come to an understanding that everybody can rock with.
Kamar, is that what he is doing? Is he saying we're going to stop everything right now? I haven't heard him say he revisited. I haven't heard him say he revisited.
I don't know. As far as I know,
I'm hearing him say stop it. Right. Well, right. I'm hearing him say the buck stops here. Right.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. These are bad deals.
He said a list of democratic accomplishment, fair labor standards, national school lunch program, voting rights, Head Start, financial aid for higher education, FMLA Act, Medicare. Okay, there you go. Give it up for the Democratic Party. Dion loves the Democrats. I don't. Am I allowed not to love them so much, Dion? Do I? This is what I'm saying. Like, when I look at the history of our country, and a lot of the things you just named benefit everybody. So good. I keep talking about us. I think that's where my conversation differs from a lot of people. I talk about us specifically because of the contribution we make to this country. I keep saying us. Unemployment benefits everybody. Medicare benefits everybody. Financial aid benefits everybody. That's good. I'm talking about us. As people who have been subjugated for so long, who have been underserved, disregarded, and disrespected, I don't see either side really pro us. So if they've done some things that have been beneficial, they should. That's their job, isn't it? That doesn't take away the fact that I don't believe that there's racist Democrats as well. That doesn't take away from the fact that I don't wholeheartedly trust and believe in Democrats. I'm not ready to give me a card, put it in my wallet, and say, I'm a Democrat. I'm for whoever represents our best interests. That's who I'm for. He said that's why I don't respect motherfuckers that be saying stupid shit and don't have a total understanding. Why do we give aid to Ukraine in the first place? I believe that's what we said. Like, do we need them? Okay, if you shipping, if we're doing
been
some
saying that, that's what we were saying on the last show.
Right. That's my whole point. I'm not even that complicated, right? I don't pretend to be the most politically informed.
We were saying fuck Ukraine, like all that shit.
Right. So why do we give anybody aid? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because see, my whole thing about any kind of relationship, business relationship, friendship, romantic relationship, you know what I mean? It's got to be a give. You know what I mean? It's got to be a win-win. You know what I mean? If we giving y'all what are we getting? Let that be cut and dry. You know what I'm saying? It does, and at this point, you know what I mean? That's why we was asking the other day, like, what do anybody know what Ukraine actually give? I think Tiarsha said some stuff, named off minerals and different stuff. She even named off fruit. And we was talking about produce. We laughed at that a little bit and shit, remember? You know what I mean? So this is what we've been talking about, Dion. You know what I mean? Like, what does Ukraine got? What are we getting from Ukraine? Like, so what if he cut their water off?
Or at least reduce it.
Right.
Does it take $126 billion? The taxpayers get the shaft. The taxpayers get the shaft. And especially when you consider, now here's something else that I don't like with rich Republicans and Trump is that you don't want to tax rich people. So these are checks written on the backs of poor people. You give tax breaks to rich people. We should be getting those tax breaks. So, let me go to chat room. Ernest says, I think Ukraine has an exclusive passageway of water like the Panama Canal. Putin wants that land back to control movement of goods. Okay. I don't have all the ins and outs of what Putin's whole platform is. I know he's a dictator. I know he runs Russia a certain way. But he is Russian. He's running his country. You know what I'm saying? Like he's Russian, and he has his policies, and people in America say, oh no, that's not fair. That's not right. He shouldn't be able to do that. But is it your business? Is it your business? Once again, it's some things being done here that shouldn't be done, but you turn a blind eye to them and look way over there. He said, of course we know it's racist Democrats. Okay. So then what, if we know that, then there's no argument there. He said, no, the whole story of why the United States have a relationship with Ukraine in the first place, it's a reason why. From what I was looking at, it's about, some post-World War II things and, in terms of how the United States and the Soviet Union, the Cold War, and I think when it came to Gorbachev and Glasnost and the collapse of communism in the USSR, the United States align themselves with certain people as kind of like a way, certain countries as a way to kind of keep balance, you know, to say we won't let Russia become the Soviet Union again like that. And so people have been saying for a long time, you got to keep Russia in check. You can't let them get too big for their britches. That's what the research that I have looked up, because I wanted to know what you said. Like what is Ukraine? Why do we care about Ukraine? Why are we blowing our money on them? I don't. And this information is out there for you all to look up. I want you all to research this information. I love it when everybody brings something to the table. Please tell me when you have some information that's pertinent to the conversation.
You know what I like to ask? I'd like to ask a Trump supporter, why is Trump aligning with Putin? And do they agree with it? You know what I mean? I'd like an answer to that. Cause you know what I mean? Okay, we taking the money from Ukraine, but that don't mean go align with this motherfucker.
Well, I think that is the maverick nature of Trump's presidency that makes people uneasy, Kamar, because I think we all are for finding wasteful spending. To a certain degree, I think we are all for controlling illegal immigration.
Yeah,
like a lot of the things that he's talking about. Well, yeah, I think we probably need to, there's some things where we just need to let people do them, you know, and stay out of people's business. And I think that's where a lot of Americans are. Like, why do we have to jump in everybody's shit? Now, like you said, we're going to get out of bed with Ukraine, and then all of a sudden now we're buddies with Putin. How does this work? What are the benefits? Now, y'all going to tell me Russia's sending a lot of fruit and vegetables over here. That's what y'all going to tell me now.
We get a lot of milk. We get milk from Russia.
Right, and nothing like some good Russian milk, right? We live in Wisconsin. Come on, man. Imagine the absurdity of that. Ernest Walker said, I promise America doesn't give away free money. We just don't know what they getting into in return, and they ain't never going to tell us. I like that, Ernest. I like that. Because there's some things people don't even know about. This USAID thing, this USAID group, we'll talk about that, which is basically the federal funding of what's supposed to be aid and assistance around the world, right? I looked this up because the judges jumped and blocked. Trump wanted to block $2 billion of funding for USAID. A lot of people didn't even know. They don't even know what USAID is. They don't know what this Catholic organization is that basically handles when there's a like an earthquake or there's like a tragedy somewhere, some kind of cataclysmic event around the world. And they have funders, big time funders. USAID is one of them. USAID, USAID, I believe $3.2 billion is given to them. They have a blank check. I'm for regulation of spending. I'm sorry. I don't, especially when I look at my community, when I look at the infrastructure in the black community. Once again, I will go to these meetings, and if it ain't about us, I don't give a shit. Come on. I'm one of those black people that I'm here for us. I'm here to talk about what we need. Now, there are some things we need internally that we need to do for ourselves. But there's also some existential things on the outside, some forces that move. And so when you talk about us being these huge consumers who contribute all this money to this economy, and then you turn around and we catch you giving $3.2 billion to USAID and $126 billion to Ukraine. That's two places. We're already at $130 billion. This ain't Trump misinformation. This is actual facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I get mad at Trump. Like, you don't got to do all the extra shit. You can make a great point.
Forget about the terrorists. You don't even need to do no terrorists. All that, man, you just saved a whole bunch of billions. Motherfuckers gonna remember you forever after that.
If it's about the what America produces and sells to the rest of the world, what we export, because we all know this economy is heavy on export and imports. And so it's what you sell and what you buy. It's a global economy. If you are in a situation where you want to say to the rest of the world, hey, y'all gonna have to start, buying more shit from America. And you want to say we want to produce more shit in America. Make that the thing. Make that your narrative. You don't have to lie to us. I feel like Trump disrespects us because he feels like we're not intelligent enough to figure things out. Like when you look at this whole Department of Government Efficiency, the Doge, and they say, oh, we've discovered over $105 billion. And then you go to their website and they're constantly taking things down, and it only lists $20 billion in wasteful spending. And there's information that has come out that said most of the programs that Musk is cutting won't result in savings of any kind. So once again, you're misleading the people. You're confusing the people. These people don't know which way to go right now. They're just like kind of standing in place like, wait, what, hold on, what's going on? That's another thing he talked about last night. He talked about the economy being in terrible shape. In actuality, Biden and the Democrats had the economy moving towards stabilization. And though we deal with inflation, it has gone down. We know at one point it went all the way up, but it has gone down. Even with the eggs, that's not on Biden. We have a bird flu epidemic in the country that has killed hundreds of, if not millions of chickens, which has driven the price of eggs up. Biden did it. It's like he just say shit. And you see my brother Al Green from Texas mad because of what Trump is doing with Medicare. And he was removed forcibly last night. I watched him today saying, I don't regret it. I'd do it again. I stand for my constituents. You are hurting people in this country. There are people who depend on their Medicaid. He's saying people are going to die because you're playing games. See, that's what I'm saying. With all that extra shit you doing, if you got all this money and you've cut all these programs with your Doge, then what you do is you take that money and say, apply this to the people who really need Medicaid. Let's make sure these people are still getting served while we're checking the books, while we're making sure ain't nothing going to waste. Because supposedly you have billions of dollars that you've discovered. It's all misleading. It has people confused. Everybody's just kind of standing there looking like, what the hell is going on? But I do agree with Ernest saying it's been a lot of secret squirrel stuff because a lot of people didn't know about this U.S. aid. They didn't know anything about that. They didn't know about these payments that go out to these people. I had seen a brother who was high on the ladder. He was talking with Roland Martin about U.S. aid. I forget his name. We talked about this a couple months ago, and he was saying that he has been instrumental in distributing aid to Africa because when they deal with, plagues and they deal with droughts and all these kinds of things, U.S. aid is the organization that will come through along with this Catholic organization that's funded. You can go and look and see what organizations U.S. aid funds too online. It's a lot of them. But see, I think $3.2 billion to give to this Catholic organization, that's too much. Once again, we're talking billions. The average American will never see $1 billion in his or her life. 1 billion, Kamar, 1 billion. And you're telling me you've given 126 billion to Ukraine? Come on.
Numerous times.
Well, that's the total of it.
Not just once.
Well, that's the total.
Oh,
that's the total
amount.
Okay. That's the total amount that they said they've given.
Okay.
120. Because I know Biden was writing checks 8 billion, 9 billion, 19 billion, and it's added up to $126 billion. Ewok says he's trying to give out $4 trillion in tax breaks to the rich. That's factually correct. He got to cut health benefits to do it. He doesn't care who dies. Well, the money that you find in as the wasteful spending, shouldn't that what I mean? Once again, it's circular thinking.
Hey,
like it just goes round and round and
They
round.
should have split that whole $100 billion up through the people and then did all the shit they was finna try to do. We had the money to figure shit out.
Well, there's money, obviously.
I ain't being sick. That wasn't a serious comment. That wasn't a serious comment. I was just playing. So
no, because we just talked about we only talked about two things, and it's $130 billion. That is a lot of money, Kamar. Now you can add. There's so much more going on in terms of where our money goes as Americans. I think it's been a very long time since we as Americans said to our government, "Hey, what you doing with our money?" This is what my issue with the city of Milwaukee was when we took it on the chin with this tax hike in the city. Is it bring Milwaukee off a fiscal cliff? Are we auditing Madison? Because we are the largest tax revenue generators in the state. What are you doing with our money? And you're going to say to us, we have a surplus. Then why do we have to have conditions to come back and say,
hey, is it 100 billion people in the country?
No, it's not 100. No.
Dog, they could split that 100 billion up with everybody in the country. Everybody with a bank account.
How many millions of people are there in America? What's the American population? Let's look at this. The American population. Let me. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. How many people we got over here? Somebody in the chat room, if you get to it before me, let me know. The population. What's this? 340 million people. So you could give everybody in this country $1 million. That would only be 340 million. This is the absurdity of the wasteful spending. Look, I'm no Trump fan, but yes, I'm agreeing with him.
And they gave 180 billion. And hold on, and they gave 180 billion to Ukraine.
126 billion. $126 billion that they've given to Ukraine. That's just Ukraine. Right. Right. So our government basically has enough money to give us each $1 million. And
they can make us all millionaires.
Right. Ewok says trillions are different than billions. Right, like billions and trillions are different than millions. Black man goal is to get $1 million. Right. So
straight up. That's what Pac said. Let me out. Give me $1 million. Give me $1 million.
Come on, man. Come on.
Dollars. That's all Pac wanted.
The U.S. aid program in 2023, they distributed nearly $43.8 billion in aid. $43.8 billion they've given away in aid. See, we're talking about money right now. We're talking about amounts of money that we ain't even. Black people's like, what did that nigga say? $billion? Dion, what's popping, man? What's going on?
Man, can y'all hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man. What's going on?
Just sitting back.
It was
300. It's 350, 340. It's 340 million people in the United States.
Right. That's what we just said.
They can't give everybody $1 million.
I know that.
It'll be a dollar. It'll be if they had 350. If they had $350 million, they could give everybody $1 a piece.
Hold on.
Not $1 million.
Hold on.
Not $1 million.
Wait. Hold on. Go ahead, Kamar. Because y'all were talking over each other. I couldn't hear what neither one of y'all said. What'd you say?
No, I was just asking you earlier. What was you saying? Was 48 billion?
That's how much U.S. aid has given out. What they gave out in 2023, $43.8 billion. Now, Dion, my point was, if you can give $126 billion in aid to Ukraine, you could have given, Because 340 million is way less than 126 billion. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you saying no, $1. No, I'm saying they could have given each one of these people $1 million and it would have came out to $340 million. That is way less.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Okay, 1 million times 340. How much money is that?
I have to pick up the Western name.
That's $340 million.
Man, you got the calculator right there.
You don't even need one. 1 times 34 is 34, right?
Well, listen, check it out, right? I keep hearing y'all talk about the money that they give it foreign aid to people.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't give a fuck because even if they did have a surplus of money, we ain't gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna see it. And not only that, the United States have been, I don't know about the USA thing, but we've been giving money to other countries for years.
Exactly.
We gave Iraq $100 billion. We gave them that in cash money. You don't remember back when the Iraq war was going on, they was dropping goddamn pallets of $100 bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So my thing is this, like, the United States is not into, okay, we got this surplus of money, let's give it to the people. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? If anything, they invested in more nuclear weapons, or, you know what I'm saying? So that'd be trivial shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about them giving Ukraine some money and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been giving, like, another person who they give money, Benjamin Yahoo, whatever his name is, you know what I'm saying, to maintain stability over there in the Middle East. So in order to know about America, we have to understand that America has been in bed with everybody. Right now, they talking real bad about Iran. But who tried to give Iran weapons back in the day? Mr. Reagan. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, so here's the math. Hold on, Dion. Here's the math. If we gave $1 million to each United States citizen, it would require $335 trillion, right?
I know. That's what that's what I'm saying, though. That's why I told you they give everybody $1.
But if you add up,
$1.
but if you add up, and we were joking around, obviously, but if you add up what they've given out to other people in terms of wasteful spending, that was the whole point of it. Okay.
Yeah. Because to have what you call that Air Force One is wasteful spending. What's the other one? What they call the presidential limo? The mule is whatever they call that motherfucker. That's wasteful spending. It's a lot of shit they do is wasteful spending. The whole thing about it is, you know, I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't trust the motherfuckers, and they can sit up there and try to make it seem like that they doing all this and all that, but they ain't doing nothing. But I'm gonna send you this thing, and I hope you take your time to look at it. And the guy, he damn near made sense because he was talking about Trump and why Trump appealed to certain type of people. You understand what I'm saying? Because he made a case for Trump, like Trump was appealing to the working man, you know, letting them. But I didn't see how Trump was appealing to me. You know what I'm saying? Because when I read Project 2025, I said I had to go pick up a voting ballot. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to send it to you, though. You know what I'm saying? When I get time. But yeah, though, you know, so even if, just like, look, we got a surplus of money still, a surplus. You know, we don't hear Tony Evers saying, well, we're going to give everybody on their state income tax. We'll throw them an extra $200 or an extra $100 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So these people have this money in the coffers, as we would say, and they use it for other shit. Well, you know what I'm saying?
First of all, let me say this to anybody who's listening. We were joking around about everybody getting $1 million. We was joking around. It was to make a point that with all of the money that we make, okay, that we could the United States citizens should be receiving way more in return for their contribution to it. That's number one. Number two, I understand that if you gave everybody in this country $1 million, it would crash our economy. I'm not stupid.
Definitely.
We was joking around. So I want nobody's like, these niggas crazy. I was joking around, man. Like
somebody thought that.
Well, I hope not. Like,
hey,
you know.
Hey, kid. Hey, look, but that's why I kept jumping out. That's why I kept saying, hey, look, I'm just playing. I'm just playing before anybody call in and tell me we just playing.
Everybody listen. Everybody can't. I know that. I'm not that simple-minded that And I know that that's not even realistic, that everybody is, you're going to go in your mailbox and everybody got $1 million. What this country would lose its absolute fucking mind if everybody had
like even with that even with that $5,000 that they was rumoring. You know, people so fucking simple minded, and that's why you have to be careful with the information that you put out here, because you do have simple minded people. I had somebody come up to me at work, said I seen it on TikTok where they were talking about it's more than $5,000, it's $8,000, and I looked at them and smiled, and I said, well, when are we gonna get our checks so we can spend them together? But that's how simple-minded people is.
Well, maybe
so.
You have, I just want people to know who may have just tuned in. We were joking around, right? Like some motherfuckers get upset and shit. We was joking around. Once again, the point is there's so much wasteful spending that goes on by our government, and even in this state of Wisconsin and everywhere else you look, that there should be no poor people. There should be no people. We shouldn't have a situation where people, you know, I know there's mental health issues and people choose a lot of times to say, no, I'd rather be homeless. I'd rather live outside. But there should be way more resources for poor people available in this country. There should be way more breaks for people to get money in this country. If we're going to give away in upwards of $2-3 billion at a time, $130 billion we're giving away to a country in aid. Like, come on, man. Some of that money can be directed effectively back into our economy, and it would be a boost for the American people. That was my point to that. So I'm not, you know, that's my point. Now you can't, of course, you can't send everybody $1 million. So fucking joke.
Yeah, you know, like shit, you know, but poverty, and you know, poverty is money, man. You know, so they want to keep us poor, man. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, they doing a job, you know, like a motherfucker. Like the other day when we was talking about public education, and you was basically saying public education is doing its job. It's not to educate your child and have them out here competing with the masses. It's to keep them undereducated. You know what I'm saying? So maybe when they get older, they can either, you know, because most of the time in the black community, we not taught about entrepreneurship. So they can get out here and get them a job, or maybe even commit a crime and be another statistic. You know, because everybody gonna get paid off them if they, you know, whether they get killed or whatever. Because the coroner gonna get paid for doing the autopsy. A motherfucker gonna get paid for scooping their dead ass up off the street. The funeral home gonna get paid for embalming them and taking care of them. The graveyard gonna get paid for goddamn burying them. The people that make the tombstones gonna get paid for making a tombstone. You know, or the crematory gonna get paid.
But the point with public education was, once again, there's levels to education, and that's why you have higher education. Because let's be honest, not everybody learns the same way, and not everybody has the same skill set, right? So a public school is supposed to supply basic education. It's supposed to teach you the fundamentals of reading, the fundamentals of mathematics, the fundamentals of science, or whatever would have you. If you choose to pursue knowledge higher than that, then you go on to pursue a higher education. But it should equip you with the basic skills to go out into the workforce and be productive. The problem that we have is that the home and the public school have to work hand in hand. You see what I'm saying? Like there has to be, the home has to be connected to your child's education. It is not fire and forget. And a lot of people are under the impression that, oh, as long as I send my kids to school, they should go and become geniuses. But most people don't even, do you even know what your child's learning style is? Like, do people even know, like, how does my child learn best? Because all of us don't just read things and memorize it and go from there. Some people need visual aids. Some people need hands-on. That's what I'm saying. There's so many wrinkles in the curriculum in terms of, and you got a class, and I learned this as a public school teacher. I got a class of 35 kids. There's no way all those kids learn the same. I have to mix up how I teach lessons to make sure everybody can pick up something. So for certain lessons, I have to provide visual aids. For certain lessons, I have to provide things that the kids that they can touch and see and utilize their hands for. They can get hands-on learning experience. If I just say, nope, I wrote it on the board, there it is, and I sat down, a majority of those kids are not going to pass. But a parent needs to be familiar with how their child learns. You need to observe your child. and say, this motherfucker ain't getting it. What can I do to help him learn? That way, when you do go to school and the teacher's saying, well, he's just not paying attention. Well, I noticed that at home as well, Mr. Johnson. Yeah, he does have a short attention span. So what he's going to need is a different kind of curriculum, something that keeps his attention. The only alternative to that is to get a bottle of Adderall or something and give it to him. Have his ass sitting in there zombified, which ain't going to work. So I think the parents, and I'm speaking about Milwaukee, the parents play a pivotal role in our children's education. We are part of the reason MPS is not working. The lack of parental involvement. I just want to say that. Ewok says the point is that Trump is pointing out the money that he helped steal in the first time he was in office. It's a trick to make people believe he's helping us. Whole time he and Musk are doing their master plan. We ain't gonna see a dime of this money. I don't doubt that. I think Trump is Trump. I mean, listen, ain't nobody on here pro-Trump, but I am saying some of these things have to happen.
I don't know too many people at this point who think he helping us. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody.
I'm sorry, Kamar, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
It's all good. Everybody I talk to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of viral videos and shit, how people talking and discuss about this shit that's going on. Nebraska having issues, different people in Michigan and Minnesota having issues, farmers in both of them states, people in, you know what I mean? I don't think nobody even feel like that. There's a bunch of Republicans on here crying and shit, talking about they believed in him. I've been seeing all kind of wild shit like that. So I don't think it's too many people that feel like he helping us at this point. Only people that probably feel like that is people who suffer from cognitive dissonance or some shit. Like they just don't want to face what's really happening. You know what I'm saying? What the truth is. Straight up.
I think because earlier we said, to me, to audit the government and say, hey, where's all this money going? And how much of this is actually wasteful? I don't see that as a bad thing. But I do agree with everybody. I agree with everybody else in that, okay, once we find this money, what's the likelihood that it's going to come back to us? Right? Like once he does say, okay, we found $20 billion over here that's been wasted. How's that coming back to us, though, as the citizens? You know, I think he's a crook. I shouldn't say crook, but I think he's a businessman, which basically means crook.
He said once before he was he was going to finna have a master plan for them to enjoy a big payday.
And it's happening already.
America can enjoy. And really, when they talk like that, they talking about themselves, the people that's running the corporation.
So once again, I want to reel this into us. And this is a question I pose for anybody out there listening, anybody on the panel, anybody in the chat room. As a foundational Black American, or whether or not I don't want to get into a debate on whether you believe you are or you aren't. You're Black. Your ass is Black. I'm talking to you. Where should we be standing right now with all that's going on? And we're only, 2 months in? Where should foundational Black Americans be standing right now in terms of this political upheaval and all of this?
What you mean? I'm confused. I don't understand what you mean. Where should we be standing? Should we be standing with the Democrats or the Republicans? Is that what you're saying?
Hold on. Kamar said he already got an answer. Kamar, go ahead.
I think we should be standing with each other right now because we all we got. And since we the biggest consumers, we all we need. We just need to figure out how can we get everything we need from each other in the easiest, you know what I'm saying, and more efficient way. You know, like we just got to figure out how to stand with each other because we see how everybody treat us. Mexicans don't fuck with us like, do we think that? You know what I'm saying? How that shit work. You know what I mean? We see how this white supremacy demonstration work with them in you know what I mean? That's in the White House and all that shit. Ain't nobody really fucking with us, but we got to fuck with ourselves.
Okay.
And that's where I think we should be standing. We should be standing with each other, man. Start disseminating this information and shit.
Okay. Now, to answer you, Dion, my question would be wherever you think we should be standing. If you want to talk about from political, Democrat versus Republican, if you want to talk about socially, if you want to talk about economically, wherever it is that you think black people should be at, because that's where we got to figure out. We have to figure out where we can't lose sight of us. I think one thing that happens is a lot of times when shit's going on in this country, we lose sight of us. So I'm saying, and where should we be standing? Where should we black people? I don't care about the other people. So Dion, where do you think the black man should be at right now in this country?
I agree with Kamar to a sense. Like we ain't worried about everybody else. Like fuck everybody else. We got to worry about ourselves. But my whole thing on that though, what entails us worrying about ourselves? Because I don't think even if we stood as a collective and put money together, we still got to buy whatever we need from the white man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. If that's where that's your answer, right? That's your answer,
like,
right?
I could dig that. Hey, I could dig that. You know what I mean? Hey, I was gonna say I could dig it. I dig what he's saying. You know what I mean? But that's part of the struggle right there too. You know, like it's gonna be a while. We still have to fuck with them for certain shit. But in the meanwhile, you know what I mean? We trying to reach out and network with each other. How can we get some stuff done? You know, like it's different services we need that black people need. We need black clinics out here. You know what I mean? Because a lot of our people stuck in the medical industry. I mean, stuck with the pharmaceuticals and stuff. So we need black people talking to them, giving them the real shit. You know what I mean? Giving them options on what they can do, how they can. You know what I'm saying? So we need to figure out how to build ourselves out more, so we don't have to reach out like that way. We need our own life insurance companies, our own lawyer agencies, our own, you know what I'm saying? We need to figure out how we can get our own water, our own electricity, our own, you know what I'm saying? We got to figure this shit out. And maybe it's through legislation or something. But we just got, that's what I mean by stick with each other and network. You know what I mean? Because there's different people that know how to do different shit.
But my thing is this though. I feel like this. Now, this is where we'll fuck up at. We gonna let them coon ass niggas back up here. I don't want to fuck with. If I find out, I'll be the executioner. For real though, I would. I don't want to fuck with them, bro. I'm serious though, because that's how Intel Pro, bro. That's how motherfuckers. That's how motherfuckers come down. We gonna try to help Mexicans. We gonna try to help Mexicans. We gonna feel sorry for a white motherfucker, and there you go. The whole plan is build black, by black, for black, black only. Not black Trump supporters, not Mexicans, not Cubans, not Haitians. As you said, Kevin, what you call us, FBAs, foundational Black Americans. But you gotta be careful with that. Because remember, hold on, Bull, I'm gonna let you talk. Remember not too long ago, it was some black people that bought like 300 acres of land, and they trying to build a community only for black people. See, we have to be careful with that, because white people feel like they're being racially, like it's being racially, like, I can't think of the word, but you know what I'm talking about though. Them people them black people bought all that land, and they only wanted black people to move in, and white people got mad, and then they sued. So a lot of that shit, we gotta move in silence with. You know, it can't be publicized, it can't be over the internet. It gotta be a bunch of brothers get together and talk to another bunch of brothers and spread by word of mouth. Because we have infiltrating ass niggas, you know what I'm saying, like Orlando and other motherfuckers, because it be motherfuckers on your thing, on your people's network talking about Trump, this and we that. Man, I'll be disrespecting them and blocking their ass. I said, I'm about to block your stupid ass. I say what I'm going to say and then go up in the Facebook and block them, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? So them type of niggas is dangerous, though. We can't have them type of people around us. And you laughing, but I'm serious, though, because that's what happened.
I'm laughing because you said I'll be the executioner.
Yeah, because you have people. That's how. Look what happened to Fred Hampton. That nigga infiltrated the Black Panthers. He felt so guilty about it. He ended up killing himself. Look what happened. Look what happened to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. So many other people. It takes people that look like us because they have they got that Stockholm syndrome. Where they be like, oh, the white man ain't that bad. Oh, I feel sorry for this. Oh, this, that, and the other. Or money. Money will bribe any motherfucker. So if a motherfucker sell his soul, what makes you think he won't sell us out? And we have to be careful too over these airways because we got this crazy ass motherfucker named Cash Patel that's the head of the FBI, and they could be really doing surveillance on us, regardless of however you think the Black People's News Network might not be a threat, but you spreading information. Not only is you spreading information, but you're going against the government and the powers of above. So a lot of that shit, that's why I said in that what you call that, in Project 2025 with the FCC, you know what I'm saying? They about to start monitoring a lot of this shit, so we're gonna have to lay low. Maybe meet up somewhere, goddammit.
Okay.
On the real.
So let me go to the chat room real quick. Ewok said, Kamaris, a lot of people looking for more stimulus checks. If a stimulus check, if a stimulus check, if it hit my account right now, I'm spending the shit out of it. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's my money anyways. I'm a taxpayer. I'm not gonna go against that shit. We talked all that shit last time we got stimulus checks. I danced straight to the bank with mine. Spent the shit out of it. My kids was young too. They had new clothes and all kinds of shit. We went to eat Outback Steakhouse, all that shit. it's my money. But I'm not waiting on it. Jesse Perry said, Kev sounds like me. We aren't beholden to any party, which is very true. I don't think we are. I think because to me, if a political party does something good, they did their job. It's like me wanting the medal for being a father. I did my job. That's what I was supposed to do. Don't give me no medal. I don't need no trophy. You say, oh, Kev is the greatest. No, he ain't. He did what he's supposed to do. So if we elect you and you get together and you say our party is going to push for this, you did what you're supposed to do. Jeff Crape, how you doing, my brother down in Texas? He said, Outlaws. What's going on, man? I was digging in the crates the other day. I found some files. Shout out to PV, who's known as Fat Brain now. He's a producer here in Milwaukee. I found the old Outlaw Radio theme song he had made for us back in the days, and I was listening to it. I'm like, this is some wild shit. I should play this on the show. I found the theme song for Coon of the Week. Because he had made me a bunch of tracks for our segments on the show. I'm going to play him one day. It's shit's funny. PV is a genius, too. If you listen to it, you say, damn, he was cold. He said, who's going to do something tangible for FBA's, DOA's, freedmen? If no one is running that will, then why vote? Think logically, not emotionally. That's Paris out in Denver, Colorado. Who else we got in the chat room? Ewok says, I'm with Dion, the new Nat Turner. He said he'll be co-executioner. He said, all I know is Putin said him and Russia worship Black Jesus now. Okay. Listen, because I didn't answer the question. I didn't feel like I had to because everything that I feel was covered by my brothers here on the show. And I've been saying this. I believe I've been pretty consistent in where do I stand in all of this? I stand with my people. I keep our situation on my mind. I keep our conditions on my mind. I'm not dreaming so big that I can't see the forest for the trees. I can look at the news here in Milwaukee and point out so many different situations that need to be taken care of. In my community, I can look in my community and see so many things that we can do to improve our standing in this country. And I want to work on those things. I point out how much money is, donated for foreign aid and all this kind of thing. And people might say, well, Kev, you're wrong for this, but I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. I don't care about nowhere else outside this country that doesn't benefit foundational Black Americans. Now, to what Dion said, if Patel and all these guys, they want to come and monitor what we're saying on the show, first of all, I'm not saying anything subversive. I haven't invited anybody to a place to meet, to assemble, to come up. And see, this is why the delineation movement is great, because finally, it's not defined by us meeting and marching. There's no bumper sticker. There's no leader. There's no slush fund. The delineation movement is about self-recognition. So when you realize who you are and who your people are, you start to behave in a certain way. Economically, we start to move in a certain way. Socially, we start to, and it's not we're going to go in there and shoot up for what? You're going to shoot Black people for what? Spending money with each other? You're going to arrest Black people for emphasizing the need to get our children educated and get their literacy levels up? Is that wrong? Mr. Patel, you tell me if you're listening. Am I subversive especially when I identify as an American. I'm saying foundational Black American. I'm saying we indeed are Americans, Black people in this country. What's subversive about it? Or are you going to be mad because I speak out when Trump does something crazy? Or you be mad when if it was Democrats in office, if Kamala was in and she was doing some crazy shit, would that be subversive? So I'm not really worried about getting monitored. I'm not really worried about them. I mean, if you tapping my phone, you tapping for practice. You just practicing.
Hey, people been doing what we do since forever.
Exactly. But you know, you can take it to another level and say, hey, let's try to meet and create this counterculture, this group, and we're gonna go out and I'd be the first one to tell any Black man if I see him with a goddamn Molotov cocktail, don't you throw that motherfucker. You better put that shit down. I'm not. We ain't burning shit. We done that. We've done that.
I feel like the delineation. I feel like the delineation movement is about creating an unwritten code. And that's what we're talking about pretty much. How do we move? It's an unwritten code. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to say earlier, when Dion was talking, I was agreeing with him, right? And I want to build on what he was saying. You know what I mean? All that, I also feel like we don't need to live in one spot. That's what I learned from Black Wall Street in Philadelphia and all the other times when they came and blew the town up. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't need to live in one spot. We just need to follow the code. Who to fuck with. We need to know where to go. So that's it. So
with that frame of mind, Kamar, even if you are an infiltrator, right? What are you infiltrating? Right. What are you going to take back?
They go buy their shoes from over here.
Right.
Hey, they go buy their shoes over here.
Right. Like, no, what did you find out at that meeting? These fuckers have the nerve to start literacy programs in their communities for their little children so that their reading levels can go up. Oh, we got to get rid of them motherfuckers. Okay. So be it. I'm once again, hit dog holla. I'm not. There's nothing illegal. There's nothing divisive. And see, that's why I get upset when I hear people talking about, the FBAs are this group. That's why you hear me say delineation over. I don't say FBA as much as I used to. I say delineators. I say the delineation movement because it's not a group. It's not a hierarchical organization. There's no leader. If you want to listen to Tariq Nasheed, please do, because he has a lot of great insights on FBAs, and he has a lot of great insights on delineation. But he is not the leader. There is no leader.
We really got to stop. We got to stop being scared to move how we want to move too. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be fearless. We got to be fearless in this. If we want to teach our kids, we got to be fearless in that. It's okay. Yeah, we teaching our kids. We teaching them what they supposed to learn in school. We teaching them how to live their life. We teaching them about life. We teaching them everything. And they also learning the code as we teach. You know what I'm saying? The delineation code.
Well, if you out there right now, like, this is why, Kamar, I welcome individuals who don't agree with me. So if you are a person who says, that FBA is trash, I don't agree with it. I'm a Trump supporter. I am a Republican. I welcome you to come and sit down and converse with me, because I'm civilized. And once again, my goal is not to turn you out. I am not a pimp. I'm not trying to get you to work for me. I'm going to tell you, brother, you got the right to feel however you want. And if you can walk away from that peacefully and respectfully, we don't have an issue. The only time we got an issue is when you want to take it to a different place, right? And to the point where I got to say, hey, man, I said, that's enough, right? But more often than not, when it's moving in that direction, I'm going to remove myself. So I say to any would-be infiltrator, come on in. If they say, well, go and figure out what this FBA thing is all about. The information you're going to be taking back is, well, there's really nothing that I could find. There's no building. They weren't having any meetings. There's no, they don't have a bank account. There's no contributions. It's just them talking about identifying and working within their own communities to improve themselves. Now, if the government want to come down for that, come on, man. I'm with
and
you.
That's what I mean. We got to be fearless about it.
Right. What you scared for? You scared to do right. Yeah. How are you scared to talk to your people about things that need to be spoken up on? Like, that makes no sense. Shh, you be quiet. Y'all be quiet. You don't want them to hear us. I want them to hear us saying this. I want them to know we want better. I want them to know we expect more from our people. Look, I'm tired of people saying, man, you know how it is in the hood. That's just how it is. It should not be that way. We should not be inclined to accept being subjugated. And we should not be unified behind being dysfunctional. We are unified in our dysfunction. You realize that, Kamar? That sounds like an oxymoron. We're unified in our dysfunction. We united on being dysfunctional. Like, we will come together for some bullshit.
Dysfunction is glorified. Dysfunction is glorified.
Oh, that shit was lit. Them motherfuckers, man, they tore that motherfucker up last night. Oh, them niggas was lit. That shit, oh, you should have been there. Instead of saying, man, we got to do better. You know, this is, and when it's fights and violence, you see more people with their phones out and people saying, hold on, wait, y'all chill. Y'all chill. People say, I wasn't finna say shit to them niggas. I was getting my ass out the way. Yeah, but you was cheering. How many people, come on, if you ever watch a fight video, if you really pay attention, you're going to hear a lot of laughter in the background. You're going to hear a lot of cheering. People say, oh, show. We're cheerleaders for foolishness. Our mentality is toxic. Our mentality is toxic. And we want to blame everybody else. We do. I say we. You'll never hear me say them people, because I'm from the neighborhood. Was once with the shits too. But we blame other people. It is very easy to blame the white man. That is, I've noticed that so many of us want to blame the white man. And I keep saying, which white man? Which white man are you talking about? When you live your life every day without even trying to be productive. And then we give each other excuses and say, well, we don't have this and we don't have that. Come on, when we was having those conversations about our little motto became, what are we gonna do about all these badass kids? Lock their ass up. People was like, no.
Lock their ass up.
No, you can't say that. When they said, oh, we don't want no jail built in the city, I said, yes, we do. Put that motherfucker right there on Center Street and lock them up so they can see the whole hood and can't get out.
You know what's funny? We kept asking everybody, well, what's the solution then? Did nobody have no solution? So we just gonna continue living in the dysfunction?
Right. Well, because it's easier to blame somebody.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? How they work with what you just said. You know what I mean? We love the dysfunction. Instead of fixing it, getting rid of the dysfunction.
It's very much easier to blame somebody than it is to take responsibility, Kamar. It is.
You know, I'm blaming the white man.
Right, of course, and that's fine. But you know, I love it when you blame the white man, because I hear you talk about how dysfunctional your life was at a certain point. But when the needle got moved and the wheel started to turn is when you took it upon yourself to make things happen. When you said, no, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to get me a job. I went in public housing. I did that until I got my money and my credit right. I utilized the programs and the resources that came my way. I jumped on them. I took advantage of my opportunities. I've been looking for different ways to make money. I've been looking for ways to improve my income. You said you did all that. I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear you.
3 jobs.
So what white man? So what white man? The same white, because you know what the white man did was he ran the penitentiary you was locked up in. But he didn't.
A correctional institution.
Okay, but he didn't invite you there. You visited his house because of your behavior. When you stopped doing the shit that got you in there, you didn't go back, did you?
No, sir. No,
okay.
Sir.
So what white man what? The white man what? What'd he do?
But I feel like me and a friend of mine was having a conversation. You know, I brought you up. I was like, you and him always be talking about that I'll be making excuses. But I just feel like if we don't went through 400 years of oppression and suppression, we damn near don't know what normalcy is. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see nothing too much productive. You know, and maybe each it's about individuals, like you said. Each individual made a choice, but as a collective, everybody ain't moving like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the problem.
You might have, might have 3 or 4, like me and my guy, right? We both drive. He drive the city bus. I'm about to be working for the city, and I drive semis, work at the school, and I do Amazon Flex. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker be hustling. But my other guy, he been out here, and he older than you, and he been out here getting it. And I'm like, well, bro, you did 7 years from 2010 to 2017, and you get out, get caught with 4 and a baby, and go back from 18 to 22. When is enough enough? You know what I'm saying? When is enough enough? I'm
still not hearing the role that the white man played in this.
I mean, shit, maybe you feel like he don't want to work for no white man. No?
Well, then that ain't that's not the white man's fault that he couldn't see the forest for the trees. See, here's the deal. Here's the deal. And I haven't been to the penitentiary. I had somebody tell me that one time. They said, "Kay, you talk a lot of shit, but you ain't been in jail. You ain't been in prison." And I said to that individual, "Motherfucker, I know." That's on purpose. You know why? Because I stopped doing the shit that could get me locked up.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do some shit that could get me locked up, believe it or not. And then one day I said, man, I'm gonna stop doing this shit. Before it got to that point, now was I blessed enough to have gotten away with it to the point where I could say, okay, now I need to stop pressing my luck? I did. I was. But I made a conscious decision, and everybody can make this decision. I seen some stone cold, straight up gangster killers come out that penitentiary and say, man, I ain't giving these motherfuckers no more time.
Hell no.
And they never went back. I got a partner. I was just talking to him. Shout out to Talk, man. I was just talking to my partner Taco the other day, and Talk is a brother who is from the life, about that life for real. I tell the story all the time about I was trying to get him hired as a basketball coach at a school I was working at, and he said, well, KB, I want to give you a copy of my record. So, you know, this is why they wouldn't hire me. And I said, oh, you know, don't worry about it. Just give it to me. I'll talk to the principal. He gave me, I said, damn, the fuck was this dude is 3-4 pages, right? But after his last bit, he said, I'm not going back. I'm making a conscious decision. But, you know, making that decision, you know what it requires? Accountability and responsibility. Because, Dion, once you said, I can't flip that 4 and a baby no more. So that money ain't going to come as fast. What they say? Work money, slow money, but it's your money and it's for show money.
Hell yeah.
So
they give us time.
So, but you made a decision. It wasn't. And once you start making the right decisions, the white man ain't been able to stop you since. With your record, you just said you just got hired by the city.
I did.
Okay. With a criminal record, with a criminal past, the lesson here is stop doing bullshit. And a lot of times you won't get involved in some bullshit. And I'm not trying to preach to my people because I understand circumstances dictate situations. And I know we come from communities a lot of times where you don't see a whole lot of positivity, but nobody can tell me that they haven't seen any. A lot of the worst niggas had a grandmother, an uncle, a cousin, a teacher, a coach, a mentor who was telling them, say, man, you got to get your shit together, man. I'm willing to help you. And they ignored it. They're like, fuck that.
Hey.
I'm doing what I got to do. And they ended up in the situations it didn't have anything to do with a white man, is my point.
I remember the first time that I understood why you don't want to stay up in a community that you were brought up in. You feel what I'm saying? Because once you get to living a certain life, you know, you living in a community of have-nots. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want to stay on 24th and Center, knowing I come home every night, knowing there's boxes coming to my house every day, knowing that even though I might not be doing nothing, they might be piece of shit vehicles, but I got 3 vehicles. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, a motherfucker say, well, he might not have that much money, but he might have a little bit, you know, and, you know, see my dogs and see I got little dogs and they're expensive dogs and they want to steal my dogs. And and might want to do a home invasion on me and all that. So I start understanding that because you want to live around people that either got just as much as you do or more because they not giving a fuck about what you do. When my neighbor across the street, he got an Infinity truck. When the Asians next door to me, they got goddamn 5, 6 brand new Toyotas. When the other motherfucker down the street, he got all type of old schools, and they don't give a fuck about what I got going on in my house. So I finally understood that because, you know, sometimes when we young and a motherfucker move away, and they don't move that far away. They might move to Waukesha, Wauwatosa, goddamn Mequon or somewhere, and we be like, you sellout ass nigga, this, that, and the other, woo, woo. But I do would like my property to be protected because I'm a taxpayer and I own my home. So if somebody break into my house, violate my property, my insurance, I got to call them. I got to have somebody come out there to repair shit, you know, all type of shit because somebody that didn't have as much as I had and I ain't got shit, but they came and took what I had. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that now. So I can give you a little credit, just, you know, maybe a grain of sand.
Just
like,
a little bit, right? A microscopic, right. I get it.
Yeah, you're right. But I still
but
feel like
you know, the
white
greatest
man.
thing is I don't do it for credit. So I'm not looking for no credit. Here's the thing. And shout out to Jeff Crape. He said, beautiful conversation. Appreciate you, Jeff. Y'all share the show. Please share the show. But I like where you're going with that because when y'all hear me talk shit and people who know me say, Kev, you always talking about capital and da-da-da-da-da. Man, there at one point, I really, 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 really loved my neighborhood I grew up in. I really did. I loved it. I wouldn't want to grow up nowhere else in this city. My childhood was beautiful. My neighborhood was beautiful. There was positive black homeowners, business owners. There was entrepreneurship everywhere I went. There was positivity. There was black school teachers, construction workers, electricians, laborers, clergymen. That is the nature. That's the fabric that made up where I grew up. And I loved it. As soon as I got married, I moved upstairs from my mother and my wife. Both of my children were born on 17th in Capitol in the house for the first formative years. I think we left when my son was 3. My daughter was 6. I loved it. But after a certain point, I started to look around and start to say, this ain't what it once was. And my mentality was starting to not outgrow the people, but the mentality. Because I was working for my money. At a certain point, like you said, I became a taxpayer. I was going to school every day, teaching kids for MPS. To the point when I walked in the hood bar, people, they called me school teacher. Or they called me Cadillac, because I always had a Cadillac. But they, school teacher, what up, school teacher? What's happening with y'all? I'm sitting there with everybody else sell crack, sell dope, sell weed, whatever. I'm partying with these individuals, and these are my homies. I love them. Then I start to realize my mentality is different now. I'm starting to think what you're doing is counterproductive. I'm not going to try to preach to you and tell you how to get your money. I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. I can love you from afar, right? I can still say, man, that's the homie. That's my partner, bro. If you need me, call me. But I'm not going to be sitting around with you engaged in that activity. Because if there's a police sweep or if there's somebody come through shooting or whatnot, the first thing everybody going to say is, Kev shouldn't have even been there.
So yeah.
He had no
niggas low down and dirty, boy.
And even though I'm in the hood, man. This is my hood too. Yeah, but bro, you ain't got no business here. You ain't got no business here. Keith Terry, shout out to Keith Terry. I hope Chris Rock is listening. We had a situation. I used to live in one of Keith's buildings, and because my brother, shout out to GT. Shout out to June. That was my partner. We were brothers. And so we went to middle school, high school, and college together. And then we came home and got a place together. And I wanted so bad to stay relevant in my hood, right? Because I had love and I was living legal. We had our own crib. We both had nice cars. We had good jobs. Here my ass go in the hood at J&J's kicking it. Now, if you know Atkinson and you know J&J's, they say if you know, right? You know what I decide to do? I'm looking at my homeboys and I'm like, well, they hanging out on the one way. They smoking, they drinking. It's 2-3 o'clock in the morning. They putting themselves at risk for police coming through sweating the hood, right? Hey, y'all, come to my house. Y'all can come to my crib. Here I come with the whole hood from the bar to my apartment. And guess what happened? Some bullshit. Wow. Some bullshit happened. I ain't gonna go into details of what it was, but it was some bullshit that resulted in property damage, that resulted in somebody possibly could have gotten killed or hurt very badly. It was a crazy, crazy situation. So the next day, Keith Terry, he was the landlord, obviously, is, you know, he comes, he looks, a door is kicked off the hinges, right? And so I'm looking and I'm thinking, damn, I'm about to have to move back in with my mama. I know he finna kick me out. He said something very poignant to me. He said, first of all, you and June got y'all both got good jobs. Y'all both got your own crib. Y'all both got your own cars. Why you in a house with 12 niggas at 3 o'clock in the morning is something you gonna have to figure out. Straight up. I'm gonna let you figure that out. He said, what I'm gonna do is you pay for the damage that's done. This is your one pass. You pay for this damage that's done for me to fix this door and this lock and all of this. And please don't let this happen again, or else you'll be back home on your beloved capital with your mother. I said, I came out with that bread with the gypsiness, paid for the whole thing. Nobody from the hood ever seen my crib again. As a matter of fact, that was pretty much my end of my association. That made it clear for me, like I've outgrown this. My mind, my mentality started to change, and I started to look around at who was cheerleading when the shit was happening versus who was saying, oh, hell no, that was out of order, bang, bang, bang. So I learned that lesson, and I never had that problem again. I have thanked him so many times. When we used to do the show at 3041 Live, I used to thank him all the time, like, hey, man, Keith, you gave me some jewels that day, because I thought about it, because he said, what, so neither one of y'all ain't got no women? Why you got all these dudes in your house at 3 o'clock in the morning? This should have happened to you. You know, what you doing with a bunch of drunk niggas at your house? Unless y'all really on some criminal shit. And if you on that, you're going to have to move anyways. I was like, you know what? Don't you worry about it. I don't even worry.
Another thing, too, it could, motherfuckers, it could take you a lifetime to build your shit up, and a motherfucker make you lose your shit in one day and move on about their business. But let me tell you this, another thing, too, that I'm thinking of while we're talking about being afraid of your community. Now, y'all always hear me talk about I be on, in the hood, this, that, and the other. But guess what? This Sunday, I had to deliver in Milwaukee. Oh, my God. So I'm like, I've been out to Elkhorn. I've been out to Summers, Wisconsin. You can leave your car running out there. So I was kind of apprehensive because, when you're doing that Amazon Flex shit, you don't want to you got multiple packages or multiple blocks. You don't want to keep turning your car on and off. My thing was, I was a little nervous that a motherfucker would get in my car and pull off with them packages. And I don't like to sound like that because it made me sound like a whole ass nigga, but it's reality though. You know what I'm saying? When and this is my community, a community that I pride myself in, love being on Chambers and goddamn rolling and Birdline everywhere. But now I'm a little older and, I was doing a job. Now if they jumped in my car, you know what I'm saying? It was just running, okay, insurance, boom, I'm getting another one, get paid, whatever. But you gonna take these people packages and all that type of shit. So it kind of made me think like, damn, I'm afraid of my own community now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that feeling. What I'm saying?
I wouldn't say afraid. I would say aware. And so everybody got on me when I did that joke that time about 27th and Burleigh. But I mean, let's be honest. At this age, at where I'm at right now, I have no business on 27th and Burleigh late at night. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I have no business. So once again, if something happens, nobody's going to say, Kev, are you all right? They're going to say, what the fuck was you doing on 27th and Burleigh? Because not that I'm afraid, but I'm aware. Now, crime can happen anywhere. So I'd say that because you see jokes online about how bad 27th and Burleigh is. So a lot of times we joke around on the show just because a lot of the shit we talk about is really heavy. And I'm one of them people where I have to laugh sometimes because or else you'll cry. But my point is awareness and realization. Like you do come to a point. Now, if your mom, like, so if it's a legacy thing, if your family owned a property, a home, and you say, well, you know what, I'm gonna stay in my home, you can stay in that community. You can stay in that neighborhood and become an asset to that community. But one thing you got to realize is the likelihood of some shit happening when you start to bubble up is greater. So like Dion said, now I'm off the streets, but I done put 3 cars in the driveway. I done remodeled my house. I keep my yard looking nice. I got my little dogs running around. Now, when I want to go on vacation, I got to come home. Somebody broke in my shit. I want to go somewhere, then broke in my garage. Like, and it's sad that it's this way. So that's unfortunate. Now, what we can do is we can come back to the community and invest and say, okay, let's build this back up. But it's going to take more than you. It would take a consortium of us to say, hey, let's all go back to the neighborhood. And I would love to one day be financially able to go back to my neighborhood and purchase a property and go over there and just be able to chill in the hood again in that perspective to say, hey, I'm over here to do positive things. But the reality of that is slim to none, because when you do come back, like I said, I see you done came back. You got, this nigga got houses and shit now. Oh, shit. Those wolves, man, they started looking. I used to do the joke about running through Ethiopia with a cheeseburger, and you look back and you're going to see some people running behind you. Well, it's your fault because you knew they hadn't ate. And it was a bad joke. I know, but I used to say it all the time.
Listen, hey, you know, the thing is, it's a fine line, man, because you leave, they call you a coon, you stay, they kill you.
That part, right? Like that. And so I had a conversation with one of the homies, rest in peace to Yayo the Dime. When Yayo died, I went back to the neighborhood for the first time in I don't know how long. It must have been 8-9 years, Kamar. And I was having a conversation with one of the homies, and I was saying, man, you know, I still got love for the hood because I had told him, I said, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna come down here and kick it with you. And he looked at me and said, no, you ain't, Kev. He said, no, you ain't. You ain't got a jack. You ain't gonna be down here. You ain't gonna come back. I said, you right. But I said, it ain't because I ain't got love for the hood, man. But you know, for me, my life changed. I'm on some other shit. And he said to me, man, don't nobody trip on you. Everybody know why you left the hood. Everybody know what you doing. Everybody ain't nobody. Because didn't nobody run me out. I didn't leave. Like, I'm so scared. I'm like, man, my kids getting bigger. And he's like, you don't even got to tell me, man. I'm already knowing. I see your ass on Facebook. I see your kids. We know why you left. You still got love down here. Now, he said that, but that don't mean I can just come down there and post up. It's very unsafe for me to try to inject myself in there now and say, I'm back. Oh, no, the fuck you ain't. You chose to leave. So stand on your decision.
Old ass nigga.
Right.
Old ass nigga.
School. What they call it, school. Hey, what's up, Unc?
Right.
Hey, Sonya Thor said, have your ass home at 2 a.m. I better be. And if I'm not, it won't be at a gas station on 27th and Burlock. That's my point. Now I got to give Dion some credit because he brought this up months ago and I looked into it. And so I had looked into it before and we talked about it, but I wanted to just kind of reiterate it because I put it in the People's News Network. Canada saying, well, if the United States want to be so Brody, don't make us cut that electricity off that we import. So a lot of people don't know that Canada imports electrical power to Minnesota, Michigan, and is that it?
New York.
Minnesota, New York. Okay. And the reason for this is to balance the power grid, because the United States, when you talk about electrical energy, there's a power grid, and if it's overwhelmed, it could fail or crash. So there's deals that Canada has said, okay, well, we can run some power from here just to keep everything so it won't be overloaded. And so the guy from Canada was saying, hell, don't make us get rough, right? Like we'll take that electricity. First of all, to that I say, do you not think that the United States wouldn't figure out a way to get that back up and running quick? They would. But secondly, if you're importing electricity to us, you're getting paid off of it too. So if you do that, you're going to cost yourself some money. So stop it with the threats, man. But I like how he came back and said he did come back. Come on, I'm gonna let you. I just want to say he did come back and say it ain't that serious because we're not mad at the American people. It's your president, and so They don't have plans to do that as of yet, but it was a threat, I guess, to make, or it was thinly veiled, but just to let people know that, hey, y'all using Canadian electricity in some of y'all in some places, so don't make us cut that off. Go ahead, Kamar. What did you want to put in there?
I was just saying, like, I heard where they was talking about putting tariffs on the electricity.
Okay.
Going to Minnesota, Michigan, and New York.
Okay.
And that was going to be the thing. And my thing is this, man. Like, if you put tariffs on a country and both of y'all exporting and importing stuff to each other, like, don't you think they're going to put a tariff back up for you too? And then it's really going to balance each other out again. And then so it's like, why even do it?
It becomes a pissing contest. It becomes a pissing contest. Right. Yeah. It becomes a pissing contest. Right. Like, a sword fight, as they say. Orlando Owens. Whoa. Orlando, I know, right? No Diddy, right?
Yeah.
Sword fight, right? Orlando
that nigga
Owens,
heart jump.
Orlando is in the chat room. That's Deion's partner right there. Orlando Owens
Never.
Is in the chat room. Yeah. Hey man, listen.
Never.
Hey man, don't do that to another black man.
I got a question. I got a question
for
Orlando.
That man to sell us out.
I got
my mama, he will.
What's your question for Orlando, Kamar?
I understand. I understand why he's taking the money from Ukraine, but why align with Putin? That's my question for Orlando. I just want more insight on that. Like, maybe Orlando knows something I don't know.
If it's about the Republican Party, he's supposed to know because he is a Republican and he supports.
That's why. That's why I asked. He's a Republican.
Yeah.
He
gonna say that's fake news. He ain't aligned with Putin and all that. So he gonna piss on our face and tell us it's raining.
Come on, Deion. I want to let's keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Let's not put words in his mouth. I want to give him a chance to. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Bring him in."
When he was on here before, he told us Trump ain't had nothing to do with Project 2025. Did he or did he not tell us that? Yes or no?
Well, hold on. Before we even answer it, he wants to chat. All you got to do is hit the line, Orlando. You know the phone number. Hit the line. What are you talking about? Bring me in. Call the damn line.
He wants you to send him a link.
Well, you'd have to hit me before the show to do that. I'll send. Look, listen, man. Don't threaten me with a good time. I send you a link, but if you coming in now, you might as well just hit the line. I'm not gonna send no link out now. I'm not gonna send a link out now. But and then that goes for anybody who has a contribution to the conversation. It's not anytime you want to call a line. Like people hear Deion, they hear Ewok, and they say, "Well, he on there." I got room on my line for multiple people, right? So if you want to call in 262-202-5131. It's on the bottom of the screen. Because I wanted to talk about these fake tow truck places in Milwaukee. Did y'all see this?
Oh my God!
Did y'all see this footage of this elderly brother? And what they do is they'll tow your car and then they'll charge you these crazy fees to get your car back. And at one point there was a place over there off Villard where they were stockpiling the cars. And I guess this newest one is on 27th and what was that? 27th and Mill Road, I think it was. I might have the street wrong. God damn it. I can't remember everything. But they might have it over there. But we and I see the community came together and they got together and what they did was they helped this, they raised enough funk so the older brother got his car back. We can't allow this is why I get mad at our mayor and the cops and stuff like this. As citizens, you got to pay to park, which you shouldn't have to. You got to pay to park on the street in the first place. But I just get upset because I feel like we should be protected from shit like this. And so there should be something. They should be moving to shut these kinds of places down, man. Because you already run the risk of getting your car towed when you got parking tickets and things of that nature. I just think that's one of the more egregious things in our city, man. Now let me see, Orlando. Do I got you on? Because I know I'm trying to merge these calls. Do I got you on? Okay, I don't got neither one of them. I tell you what. Let me clear my line. I hate when my phone does this, and it does this every now and then. I don't know why, but it will do it. Let me clear the line, y'all. This might be what they were talking about. The Patel and them trying to monitor us, Kamar, and do COINTELPRO. I know. Give me a second, Orlando. Let me clear my line. Because my phone is giving me a hard time. I can't. It's actually frozen right now. And that's why people say, Kev, they watching you. They're watching you. Let me clear the line. Here we go. I'm going to reset it, and then I'll get everybody in. Let me see. Jesse Parrish, in the meantime, in the chat room, he said Kev is B1 codified. I can dig it. So am I, not D1 or R1. Earl Henning, how you doing? He said, what it do, my brothers? Chocolate milk, love us. That's all we can do is love us. Let me get my line back on deck, y'all, because we still got a lot of time left. And I want to make sure everybody can call in. I don't know why every now and then my phone does this, but if y'all want to see a better phone system, hit that Cash App, right, Kamar? If you want me to get a better phone system or a better phone, that Cash App down there, KB7524, is always popping, man. So before you complain, hey, lay $1,000 up on demand, right? But we'll complain about some shit, but we won't contribute. Right? Let me see. Jesse Perry said cognitive dissonance is failing to get off the Democratic plantation with all this truth and knowledge at your fingertips. Orlando said, no doubt, Cash App. Yeah, man. I tell people all the time, because I don't put the Cash App up like that, man. I really don't. I don't push it because I'm not an ambulance chaser. And I have gotten contributions through the Cash App before, and it's all good. I don't trip. This might just be a faux pas of my internet, the way I have things hooked up. So I just have to wait sometimes. Sometimes it works like a charm, sometimes it doesn't. But it's coming along. But yeah. So I want, if you all be on the lookout, man. We need to start, when you see a place where a bunch of random cars are just parked, and you say, is that a shop or something? Start reporting these places, man. I'd like to know from City Hall, what is the regulations with this? Like, if you got a tow truck, you can just tow anybody's shit and then just charge them crazy amounts of money to get their car back.
Right. Like, how do they know that that's who got the car?
Well, people find the car.
Like, how would they know where the car is? Huh?
Well, I don't know what this elderly brother, the footage that they had is them actually pulling off, and he was trying to fight these dudes off. And this is an old brother, man. He was trying to fight these young cats off, man. And it was like, man, it was horrible, man. And when, I hate to see elderly people get abused, but I definitely hated to see that. But once again, they found this before. It was over there off of Villard. I believe it was off 34th and Villard, where cars were missing, and they was told, and they was saying, hey, where's my car? And then found out that they were being stockpiled over there. And in some cases, they sell the cars. This is like, how's there not a crackdown on this? I need information about this. Jesse Perry says, delineation is a leaderless movement. The code is the leader, Kev. That's what we just said. There's no leader. That's what makes it so great. We're not following nobody. Now, I think I got Orlando on the line right now. Orlando, you good?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm good. Dion, if you want to call back, man, I had to clear the line, so I don't want you to think I hung up in your face. You call back, we'll bring you in. Now, Kamar had a question for you, Orlando. I don't know if you heard the question or you want Kamar to repeat it or what.
Yeah, have him repeat it. Kamar, hey, I'm eating vegan, Kamar.
Say what?
He said he's eating vegan now.
Oh, okay. That's what's up, Orlando. That's what's up, man. Hope you're feeling a lot better about yourself, too, on a daily.
He's trying to get his summer body together. So his question was, why is Trump dead set on aligning himself with Putin? What's up with his love for Putin?
Well, I think he said in his statement that he aligns with America and anybody who wants war to end. So it's not so much aligning with Putin, nor is it aligning with Levinsky. It's aligning with ending this war.
So, okay. So you said he does that. It looks like he's aligning himself with Putin, but he just wants this war to end. That's what you're saying Trump's message is.
What I'm saying, he's not aligning with Putin nor Zelensky. He's saying this needs to end. We need to see this war come to an end because both of you are all afraid of World War III. Can we come to some type of agreement that let's all agree? Let's not see that, but let's come to some type of agreement. That's why the mineral deal was so important.
Okay, now you tell me this, Orlando. Do you think he would have spoken to Putin the way he spoke to Zelensky? Do you think he'd have berated him and had him removed from the White House?
I don't think it would have got that deep. I think Putin would have been a much more, let's say, elder statesman and kind of conducted himself in somebody else's house. I don't think it would have got off that. I don't think it would have got off the rails like that.
So you think Zelensky was wrong because he didn't have on a suit when Musk doesn't have on a suit most of the time? Like he don't have on a suit. Like why is it? It looked like a bully. It looked like bully shit. It looked like high school shit. Like it looked like Trump them was just berating this dude from the start because he loves Putin so much. That's the way it looked. But you see, obviously you're a Republican, you're a Trump supporter. You see that differently?
Yeah, so I don't think it's so much with the dress. I think people are just getting a little frustrated with the whole diplomacy of how you approach the diplomacy and how we need to respect the table of how we all need to come into it. I think the biggest issue is not so much how he dresses. It's the point of this dude is trying to just stoke more war. Like, what's the deal? You have to understand you're going to lose this without others getting engaged in this, and you just seem like you hell bent on keeping this thing going. Like, what's your problem, man? You don't hold the cards, as he said. Like, I'm not playing cards, and Trump says you don't have no cards because you the little brother trying to talk slick to the big brother, meaning Russia. Russia can roll on you, man. What's your problem? Stop with all the war talk. And as they say, saber rattling, because it ain't even saber rattling because they actually are at war. Stop with all the continuing war talk, and let's find a way that we can protect what you have, give you some semblance of honor to walk away from this thing because you're gonna lose when we pull out the thing, bro.
Okay, now I got another question for you. Because like I said, we had Dion was on the show earlier. Hold on. Did this thing freeze up again? Orlando, can you still hear me? What is going on with this phone? What's going on with my phone, Kamar? As when they say we're being tapped and all this, then my phone started acting up, right? Let me see. Who we got on the line? Dion, can you hear me? I mean, Ernest, can you hear me? Or do I still got Orlando? They both dropped. This has never happened before, right? This has never happened. Call back, Ewok. It's not me, it's the phone. My phone is acting a fool tonight. Orlando, you're welcome to call back too, because I got another question for you. But Ewok, call back. Give me a call. It's open now. I don't know what's going on with the phone. Honestly, I really don't. I don't. And we don't have this problem. Normally, when I reset the phone, we don't have this problem. Because I wanted to ask him about the policies, the Republican policies. Ewok, I got you now. What's going on, Ewok?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm here.
Now, you was calling in. You had something on your mind. What's popping?
Man, Orlando is a cult follower, man. He is in the cult. And he has an excuse and an explanation for everything. I mean, he doesn't sway away from nothing that Republicans or Donald Trump do. That's a cult. That's a cult follower. He's a cult member, man.
Okay.
Straight up trash, man. That's garbage. And guess what? Orlando can hear me. If somebody come into your house, wouldn't you try to tell the motherfucker to get out? You gonna let them just come in? That's Zelensky's house. How the hell is he the warmonger when somebody come up in his house trying to take his shit, telling him we want this? I don't understand. How the hell? I want to know how is Zelensky at fault for protecting his house?
Okay.
Yeah, Orlando don't want nobody to come up in his fucking house.
Well,
that's some silly ass way of thinking. He's gonna sit here. I'm telling you. Dion said he told you what he was gonna do.
I'm gonna let Dion call back. I'm gonna let Orlando defend himself. I just had to get off my chest, man. Orlando was a cult member.
Okay. You saying he's drank the Kool-Aid. He's drank the Kool-Aid. Hey, when you have a discussion, there's bound to be multiple perspectives. Or Orlando, you're free to call back. Dion, the line is open. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing tonight, but hey man, we make do with what we have, like I said. And I don't always have this issue. I don't know what's going on, but let me see. Okay, so I got Orlando back on. Orlando, did you hear Ewok on when he was just on?
No, I missed the question.
Well, he basically said that you're a cult, that you are a cult follower, and that you make excuses for Trump, and that you are going to downplay anything that he does wrong because of your republicanism. So he said that you're basically, it's a cult and you're a part of it, and that you've drank the Kool-Aid, that in regards to your answer. But I wanted to ask you about the fact that maybe Trump may touch on some important things like wasteful spending, like illegal immigration, like corruption in the government. But why does he feel the need to lie and mislead the people? Because the facts themselves, the truth, will prevail. Why does Trump need to exaggerate? Why does he need to add something to it? Why does he have to do all this extra shit? And you, as a Republican, you don't have an issue with the fact that he's just willing to just say something, whether it's true or factual or not, and that's cool. That's fine. You good with that?
So going back to Ewok, I'm a free thinker. I don't drink nothing that I don't choose to have. I like the house of vitality. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do the way I'm gonna do it. So I'm not a bot for anybody. If anything, I'm a thorn sometimes to the Republican move. But I think part of it is that Trump is definitely always looking for more information. I don't necessarily always agree with his approach. I think he's gotten better since the first term. But at the same time, there's a lot of information out there that some may not agree with. That you might say, well, he's lying about that. Well, what is it, lying? Or we just don't agree on all the information.
Well, hold on. When you say somebody 300 years old is getting a Social Security check and it's just not true, there's no Social Security check being delivered to somebody who's 300 something years old. That's not true. It's just not factual. But he'll say it and just keep it moving. That's lying.
Well, I think no one believes anybody is 300 years old. It is the laughability that our system that kicks out.
I get that. I get that. But what he's saying now, so there are people. This is the way it's really. This is and I went through the fact checking process on this. There are some people whose deaths haven't been reported, right? And they were receiving Social Security. But nobody is 200 years old and been dead 100 years and still getting a Social Security check. That's just not true. They haven't. Their death hasn't been officially reported, so they are still on the Social Security roll. But there's no check being mailed to their address.
Well, again, let's clear up the entire system. You admit that that person is on the roll still. And that person shouldn't be on that road anymore because clearly they're not alive anymore. But it is the audacity and the inaccuracy, and it's a failure of our internal system that this whole system to be cleaned up. Like, why is this person even registering on the system? Be it they get the check or not, this should be cleaned up. Why are we still using systems that still show somebody 345 years old? That's laughable.
So say that instead of saying that there's a check. Like, once again, I'm hearing you, and there's a thing with Social Security where after 115 years, your benefits are cut off anyways. So if you live that long, then it's cut off. If you're still alive, you'd have to call and say, hey, no, I'm still alive. But to say, well, there's 3 people 300 years old and there's checks still being distributed, like, that's a lie, though, Orlando. So I'm saying, why not just speak to the issue? Why do you got to put some mustard on everything? Why everything got to be? Why you got to exaggerate? Why do you have to lie? Why do you have to mislead people? I mean, I don't.
Well, I think part of it is definitely, it's a little, how do I say, hyperbole, no doubt that, but it's also
just
that
a
it's
little,
a real thing.
just a
Like
little.
we got people on the rolls. I mean, look at our voter rolls. We got people voting who are dead, who shouldn't be. Now, is that person actually voting? Of course not. But why are they on the voter roll though? Those are the things like we are America. We still got people who you still getting mail from people that don't live in your house, ain't lived in your house in 45 years, and you still getting mail and you're the owner and been living in your house for 30 years. So this is a problem. Now, could someone possibly be up to some nefarious things like voting with somebody else's, information, still getting Social Security fraud, because we know Social Security fraud is a real thing, but this is how the fraud does it. Like, no one is catching this. Out of all the brainiacs we have working in the Social Security Department, no one says, "Oh, we still got people on our roads. We shouldn't clean up the roads."
So put the energy towards creating a solution as opposed to just lying. Like you don't have to lie. Like, okay, it's okay, we got an issue here. We need to come up with some systems to make sure that people who are deceased are no longer receiving paychecks. That's the issue. I think people will identify with that and say, okay, Mr. President, let's get to work on that. But when you start talking about, hey, it's people 340 years old getting, and like Ewok is making a point, Social Security is only 100 years old. So how is somebody from the Revolutionary War still getting a check? It's lies. I guess that's the problem most people have, is that it's lies.
Okay. If you want, again, I think part of it is that some folks don't, pick up on the humor or the sarcasm. Naturally, nobody's, 235 years old. Like Kev, as good a football player you are, you didn't have 11 tackles in one game. I'm just saying, consistently, you could have, but I'm just saying.
No, I did. I did. That's not my personal best, but okay, I hear you. I hear what you're going. No, I did.
But it's like, okay, part of it is to shame the system and embarrass how foolish and unbroken our system is. I think most of us realize that we hope that no one's actually receiving the check at 150 years old. But let's highlight how stupid and how broken our system is. Like, you can still be on the system, and I don't know, could you theoretically still do it and get a check?
It doesn't sound like he's saying these things in a joking manner, though. He's saying these things like he's, even with the whole Doge thing, where they're saying $105 billion we've caught up, and then you go to their website and it's forever changing, and then it only lists $20 billion. So you're misleading people. You got people confused. As the leader, your job is to inform people and put them in position so that they can support whatever you do to make change. Why do you feel the need to lie? Why do you feel the need to mislead people? That is, I think some of the things that Trump does, it's like, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. And I think that's what becomes the issue. I think it becomes an issue when Trump is doing things that we say, hold on, man, don't do it like that. Like they're eating your pets, right? Like they're eating your cats and dogs. Like that's, when you come on and do shit like that, it just becomes problematic. Now I got Dion on the line. Orlando, are you still with us?
I am.
Now Dion's on the line. Now my next question was, Dion said that the Republicans have no policy. He listed off several things that the Democrats have done policy-wise. Orlando, what are some game-changing Republican policies that they've come up with, brought to the game?
I mean, we'll stick with those. Just the fact of starting to, pull back the veil of where the money is going, but yet and still they'll tell low-income people there's no more money for voucher housing. There's no more low-income housing available. There's no more food stamp assistance available. So let's just start looking at that. I mean, that's a huge piece by trying to get the departments back under control.
So is that money going to come back to the community that they found? Is that going to come back? It's going to come back to the community, you believe?
I would think we're looking and moving toward shrinking the size of federal government and getting that money back to the taxpayers. That's what part of the $5,000, not even a refund, but just $5,000 back to the people. Like, the federal government shouldn't have all this money, and every department is bloated. Like, all this extra spending on what? Transgender mice? What are we doing here? What are we doing? We're spending money for condoms and What are we doing, man? So
see, that's them lies. That's them lies, Kev. That's them lies right there. That's that bullshit. He's a talking point for Donald Trump, talking about transgender mice and condoms. Where did the condoms go? The Guantanamo Bay, or which country did they send? What was it, $43,000 or $50,000? Say the number. Say the number though.
So I don't have the number in front of me.
Oh well, don't talk then. Talk about why Elon Musk. Talk about Elon Musk, which is a foreigner. He's an Afrikaner. Talk about if you say put America first. Why is an American with Doge looking into this? Why you feel comfortable with Elon Musk? You feel what I'm saying though? Like y'all, that's why I'm with what's the name of this called? When you talk to these people, man, like transgender mice. You know what I'm saying? Now you sitting up there repeating some bullshit that this idiot up there just said. You know what I'm saying? So what are they doing research? Where is they doing this research on transgender mice at?
So Dion, you can be, upset with the fact of the stupidity that you want to support with the bullshit you're trying to ride with. That's cool. But let's just be clear. We have a bunch of old weirdo scientists. We had a dude says, the Wuhan, virus didn't come from a lab. So let's not dismiss it as this. Oh, it's not. People don't do stuff like this. Stop it. We had a whole culture of black people in Tuskegee who was experimented upon. So don't say stupid stuff don't happen, Dion. For real, for real.
Well, Trump said drink bleach though. Trump said drink bleach though. He did.
But let's just be clear. The dismissal, like nobody's died. But wait a minute. Kamar has a whole business on working with natural foods and getting chemicals. Who you think we test the food on? Who you think we get this stuff from? So don't dismiss it like out of hand, like nobody's doing tests on lab rats. We've been doing tests on mice and rats forever. What are you talking about, Dion? For real. I mean, are you being Kojic right now, or you just a defender of the left and the crazies of the left? Talking about talking points. You just spitting out stuff that you don't really want to take. Who's doing your, diet today? I don't know if you dye your beard, but who did the test on your diet for your beard?
I don't think Dion has a beard.
No, I'm just listening though, because I'm still tripping off. I'm still tripping off. This man said something about transgender mice.
Again, let's not dismiss the stupidity that we invest in, for the sake of humanity, supposedly, on our universities and our campuses, and also all the pharmaceuticals, research and development. I mean, Kamar is sitting right here on air. He can tell you a lot what we do with our foods and how we test it. I mean, for real.
So what about when they use mice to test cancer medicine to see if it's beneficial? Are you against that?
Well, nobody really runs tests on mice, if I don't follow your logic, because you're going to dismiss it like it's, well, nobody does cancer research on mice.
No, we talking about transgender mice, because you have some uneducated person in fucking Kentucky or Virginia saying, God damn it, they're using my tax dollars and he getting welfare, SNAP benefits, which gonna soon get cut out. You know what I'm saying? He really gonna be mad then. They're using my goddamn tax dollars for transgender mice. You feel what I'm saying though? Like that's ignorance.
No, I don't feel what you're saying, because you're dismissing the whole idea of research and development. Are you serious? I mean, what do you think you're getting the research and the information for the?
Okay, here you go, right here. Here you go. It said the morning after Trump's speech, the White House provided a list of $8.3 million in federal grants to health studies that involve mice receiving treatment that can be used in gender-affirming healthcare. The White House list made clear that what Trump said in his speech did not. The studies were meant to figure out how these treatments might affect health of humans who take them, not for the purpose of making mice transgender. So they're seeing how this medicine, we're testing this medicine that ain't never been tested before, and we're going to see how it will act. We're not trying to make mice transgender. You understand what I'm saying? But they're looking. What
you are getting caught up in the.
Well, this from CNN. This from CNN. Well, if you Google it right now, you just said it though. You just said it. But I don't care about making mice transgender.
Well, hold on.
What I care about
here's the truth. So $455,000 was allocated by Biden, the Biden presidency, to test the effects of gender-affirming hormone therapy on HIV vaccine and induced immune responses on mice. But it was viable research. So it's not just like they were trying to make transgender mice. It's viable research that was done. And Trump,
if we believe this is viable research, again, I don't support that process in the first place. So
you're not transgender though, and I don't care about somebody being transgender. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about, I'd rather for my money to go to transgender people than for my money to go for people that want to overdose on fentanyl. I don't want my money to go there. I'd rather for my money to go on transgender mice than people that that abuse the system. You know what I'm saying? I would rather for my money to go on helping people like that, because I don't care about no fucking transgender mice. I don't care about people using the same bathroom as other people. Like, I used to care about that shit, but I don't care about that shit no more, because this is gonna happen one way or another. Because if I want to go in, if I got to piss bad enough, I'm gonna.
I think he blanked out a little bit. I don't think that's my phone, y'all. I think that was Dion.
That's that shit the hillbillies care about. Yeah, a bathroom is a bathroom. A bathroom is a bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, we got a transgender bathroom in our house every day. My woman use my bathroom. I use my bathroom. You understand? It's a man and woman's bathroom. So I'm not gonna sit up here and feed off into that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a transgender bathroom. I think that might be a multiple gender bathroom. You don't want to say your girl is transgender.
Yeah, because somebody might pick up off of that.
Right. Like,
I'm just saying though, like the Republicans. But you know what? Okay, what about Elon Musk? What about Elon Musk? You weird. What about Elon Musk? What about Doge? What about him getting $8 million a day? Google that fact. Elon Musk getting $8 million a day trying to sell us electric-powered vehicles for the war. Think about that.
Hold on. Too, Orlando. This is another thing.
I'm about to mute myself.
This is another thing too, like where Trump was saying that Biden had come up with all this legislation to make car manufacturers do electric vehicles, but he didn't. And so he actually came up with some regulations that encouraged them to produce more electric vehicles. But even with that said, Trump and his cabinet have not removed those things yet. So, but he came out and said, yeah, Biden's trying to make everybody make electric cars, and we put a stop to that, and we ain't having that. But that's one of those things where I said that's a lie, though. That's not true.
Yeah, and Bill Clinton said I didn't have sex with that woman. So I mean, part of it, let's be clear. Part of it is campaign talk.
So look, hold on. You gonna bring up Dollar Bill and Monica Lewinsky instead of addressing the fact that your boy Trump just told a flat out lie. Once again, I'm talking about, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm looking at the truth, and I'm looking at what's a lie. Because I'm one of those people, like, I prefer to hear the truth. And I get you on saying, oh, he was being humorous or he's joking around.
It's a little hyperbolic. I would say that, if that's a word. You're the word scholar.
I don't know that is, but it's cool.
It's a little fantastic. I'll give you that. But to sit back and act as if we don't do this research, that we're not testing, Dion is all up in arms, and Dion, he's kind of a weird guy sometimes. As far as, I don't care who's trans in my bathroom, I would rather put money to set up a transgender port. How about this? Port transportation. If you're gonna trans something, how about transport people back and forth? While we got millions and billions of dollars in all these federal departments, and they're going, hand over fist. They, Kev, you worked for the Housing Authority at one time. You all could never have enough budget to actually help the people, because the money was always so tight. So look at when they say we got to raise more sales taxes because we need more money. We got to raise property taxes because we don't have enough money. Look at what our federal money is going. If we would have had that money here in the city, you wouldn't have had to raise more taxes on poor people and raise rent. But Dion don't have a problem with that, because he's so hell-bent on getting this liberal agenda for us, because he's a weirdo. But that's cool. It's cool. But again, why not keep the money here in America?
And with the city, my argument with our state is that you're going to take taxpayers' money, which comes from us, and then make us borrow it back and then put draconian conditions on it. That's not even federal. I have a big problem with that whole thing that the mayor and my brother DC Crowley did. Even though when I spoke with brother DC, he said the county didn't forfeit their rights on critical race theory or DEI, so to speak. They didn't forfeit their rights. The city did. But that's a whole other issue too, is with the Republicans on why there's such a pronounced agenda to not teach kids the truth. What's wrong with kids learning the reality, the real history of our country? Slavery is a pivotal thing in our country. Actually, slavery established our economy, especially in strengthening the South. The South became a power player because they had a bunch of free labor. So why would we not teach kids about that? What part of that is wrong to teach kids? You don't want to make white kids uncomfortable, do you? But that Trump's agenda is to say, if any school is teaching that, if you're teaching that, but then you can say, well, no, you can have Black History Month. But what do you think Black history is? And you say, well, schools can't have protests. We're going to take their federal funds. Protesting is part of, do you realize the Revolutionary War is based on a protest, the Boston Tea Party? So why would a president want to come in now and say, I'm going to take the ability to protest away from Americans? You're limiting free speech. Basically, I can't believe Republicans are sitting by watching these kinds of things happen and not saying anything. So you support that people shouldn't be able to protest? College students shouldn't be able to protest, or the school loses its federal funding? You support all that kind of foolishness?
Well, I support, people's right to petition the government. What we don't support is the disruption and the shutting down and the, illegal assembly. I support, like anyone else supports, the right to protest and also to, assemble. I support that idea, the protest. But the idea is doing it legally and, within, kind of the parameters. But when you can, because we just had a whole, shutting down of campuses, taking down Jews in the schools, it just became too much. When people can't walk down a campus without being, berated with, well, what do you feel about this? Like, hold on, man, I'm apolitical. I don't care one way or the other. I just want to walk to class. So I think there's a line that we all have to, respect. That some folks don't want to be engaged in that, brother. If that's what you want to do, go to the protest corner and y'all do whatever you want to do. But don't push your protest. And why I don't want to put on your T-shirt for Hamas, and Palestine, then don't force me to do anything. If that's what you want to do,
so if my son is at a school and there's a protest, and we know, look at Kent State. Look at what happened at Kent State, right? Look at what happens even in this country where you've seen kids getting they beating the hell out of young kids for protesting. Is somebody deemed this an illegal protest? Now you're saying the school who didn't encourage this, it just happened. They should lose their federal funding because students are protesting and the students deserve to have their heads kicked in. Like, this sounds like a threat on like free expression and free speech, and like we have the right to assemble. Like, that's in the Constitution, ain't it?
It is. You do have the right to petition your government and to protest, peacefully. You do have that right. But I think it's when it goes too far. I mean, when you burn down stuff and it goes too far, people can't go back and forth, to work or to class because you want to say, you need to listen to me. Like, no, I need to be able to have my right.
And in that case, most of the time the police or the campus police move in and take care of that. But when that happens, the school shouldn't lose its federal funding because this happened. How do you justify punishing the school because people exercise their right to free speech?
So I think the question is not so much the free speech. It is the question. I think when you look at some of the universities that were brought in that, had a position, and this whole thing really, revolved around the Israel-Palestinian war. That's what it's really, this whole thing kind of really stemmed about. Let's be clear where this whole idea of free speech really kind of kicked up. It is the people that were actually, supporting the rape, the killing, the murder of children, in this conflict, who are people who are against America. So that's where the line was starting to be blurred and crossed. You're supporting, people who are anti-American, not free speech. That's not the question. And then you went out to, kind of hunt down Jews on campuses. And Jews get out of here.
Not that I feel like you're going in the way of Trump right now, because there's no documented cases of groups of students hunting down Jewish students on campuses. Orlando, come on now.
We can look back at all the protests, and they are telling Jewish students to get off campus.
But they didn't hunt them. They didn't hunt them down and assault them. And I don't think it was so much as them telling them to get off the campus. I think it was them saying Israel is wrong for what they're doing. Now, once again, Israel, they responded to what was done to them, because there was an attack. But this has been years and years and years of this conflict that's been going back and forth. And America has supported Israel's Zionist agenda. America has supported Israel occupying Palestine for a very long time. And people say, well, it's wrong for them to go and bomb women and children. And it is wrong. It's wrong. So I feel like, now, if they are burning cars and if Jewish kids are being assaulted, yeah, it's wrong. And then the law enforcement should do his job. But I don't think the schools should lose their federal funding because something happened. This happened. I guess that's where my thing is. How does the school, what should the school then do? Institute these Gestapo campus security guards and reinforce them with more armor and more guns and more weapons. So as soon as the students start to gather, you got some gung-ho white dude who's a campus security guard, and he gonna be done killed the student. I didn't want y'all to lose y'all federal funding. You see what I'm saying? This is what this kind of thing leads to.
When you look at, the Democrat-backed, Klan, when they started to assemble on college campuses, the federal government stepped up, and said, well, wait a minute, you can't, we're going to have to bring in the National Guard, because kids, Americans should be able to go back and forth to school. But, the beloved, love of Dion, the Democrats, liberal Republicans, white racist Democrats, were able to assault and stop blacks from going on campuses. So there has to be a point, Kev, that your protest and your opposition starts to be a problem.
I think it's funny, Orlando, that you're saying Klan, when most of the protesters that were against black kids going to college campuses were just white people. They weren't wearing sheets. They were. What's your man who owned the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones?
I would consider them Klan members, but nonetheless, the idea still holds that when there's a certain level that when you start to say you can't be on campus because X, Y, and Z, there becomes a problem that we're crossing free speech, and now it becomes turns into
so what you're saying is anti-Israel protesters were preventing Jewish students from enrolling in a university, and they were following them around, harassing them because of this conflict. You saying that was the case? Because that's not true.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say they were not able to enroll, but you had a level of Jewish students feeling some type of way on campuses.
Okay.
They couldn't move about with the protests, couldn't move about the campuses. Some left colleges and went back home. Some kind of put themselves in their own self, let's say, confined in their dorm rooms. So when you get to that level, that people who have a different opinion or position than you can't move about, now your individual right is now infringing on other people's rights. And that's
I speak to this because my daughter graduated from the University of Minnesota, and I don't know if people know that there's a very large number of Somalian students and Middle Eastern students. I didn't see any fights. I didn't see any fire. What I saw was students, when they would walk across the stage to get their diploma, they would hold up a flag or they would hold up a sign that said "Free Palestine." And the whole campus cheered. You know who wasn't cheering? The old white people in the crowd. They was looking like this some bullshit. So I'm just saying, I didn't see any Jewish students, because there were some Jewish students who graduated too. I didn't see anybody getting chased around with their cap and gown. I didn't see any fires. I didn't see any of that. So I just feel like that's overstated in order to, like, you fear monger, like you create fear to justify.
I want to know is Trump racist? That should be the drop the mic answer.
there's enough video footage of enough, let's call them, encounters on campus that are definitely warrant some concern. Maybe they behaved during your daughter's graduation.
Okay, just that was the one time they behaved. Okay.
They behaved, and when you support Hamas and the killing of children, and that's going to be a problem. But you're going to see a pushback from Americans who don't support that, and you just know that's also possible that people will stand against what you believe in as well too, because this is the area. This is the country that people can have varying opinions.
That's right. That's why we shouldn't be That's why we shouldn't be taking federal funds from schools, because the students are exercising their right to free speech. Like you got this dude right now because they won't call the Gulf of Mexico, because they won't call it the Gulf of America. He's banned a whole media like they can't come in the White House, they can't go on Air Force One because they won't say Gulf of America. Orlando, you don't see this is just stupid. This is just like this.
But you know what though? Yeah, if I was listening to somebody today, and I really truly agree with them. People that voted for Trump. Now, we're not gonna say people like Orlando because I guess he truly believe in it. But most of them people voted out of hatred, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all that guy represents: hate and divisiveness. And you have, I don't know what black people actually voted for him for. They felt like he had machismo and this, that, and the other. You see how everything that you asked Orlando, he covered up. I just want Orlando to answer one question. Since I'm weird, is Trump a racist? Yes or no? You don't have to put no spin to it. Either you say no or you say yes. And that's going to let me know what. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, these motherfuckers ain't got no trailers, man.
I say no again.
Okay.
You can say people voted out of hate. No, they didn't want to vote for the weird lady named Kamala or the old dude named Joe Biden. Can they do that? I mean, because you was rocking with that. I mean, again, with cackling, Kamala, they wasn't rocking with her. So let's get off like, they just voted because they hated him. Stop it, man. He wasn't a popular vote. He wasn't. He didn't win no popular vote. He won by 1.5%. Don't sit up here and lie. And it was like 3 to 4 million votes was missing. On the real. Don't sit up there and lie.
I will say this,
1.5 million is a very small margin.
I will say this too. 80+% of black people still voted for Kamala, Orlando. So, it was
but the black men did. At the poll in Wisconsin say they wasn't rocking with her or Joe. So
say that again. I didn't hear what you said.
20% of black men in Wisconsin, or the black vote, exit polls said they didn't vote for Kamala either. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, 20 compared to 80, that's a loss, right? 80, that's like super one-sided.
It's a loss to Democrats who needed to have 95% of the black vote.
I'm not going to even lie to you. A lot of black men just didn't vote, period.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of black men just said this. You know what? They said, nah, we ain't even going to do it.
They wasn't rocking with who? Kamala
or Trump? They wasn't rocking with either one of them.
That's fair, but again, when you need 95% of the black vote to show up, be it men or women, it didn't show up. Then that's a problem for Democrats and people who think like Dion. That's a problem.
It's a problem for Republicans as well too, though. If they don't vote either way, it's a no confidence vote.
We got enough, with Project Needle, we got enough people to come out that did support him, or people were more conscious to your point that I don't like either one, or I'm gonna write in, I want to write in.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest. Wisconsin is 86% white. Okay, what got Trump over the hump was northern and northwestern Wisconsin. Like northern Wisconsin, that's who got him over, because Milwaukee County voted democratically. So you saying what Project Move the Needle did, but it really wasn't that. It was the white people in northern Wisconsin.
Because we did see a huge uptick that was enough to get more votes out of Milwaukee. You didn't have to win Milwaukee. You didn't have to win Milwaukee County. And I think that's where you and I differ on the whole numbers thing. It wasn't about winning the city or the county. It was about getting more out of it. or people decided they wasn't rocking with Kamala.
Yeah, but 90% of the minority population in the state lives in southeastern Wisconsin, which they lost. They lost that. So you're saying it was about taking votes out. Now, I will say this too to the people in northern Wisconsin: when these tariffs and when all of the subsidies that they receive for their farms and all these kinds of things come into play, there's a lot of old white people up there too who are going to lose their Medicaid and their Social Security. They voted against their own interests. So
yeah, you're doing some fear mongering there, my friend. You're trying to scare people there.
Well, no, but it's wait, hold on. Is it fear mongering if he's actively saying he's going to dismantle the Social Security system? He's going to lay all these Social Security, 200,000 employees off? That's not fear mongering. That's factual. This is what he's in the process of doing.
So how does that affect the actual Social Security payouts?
Because if you don't have enough employees and you're going to disrupt them, they're not going to get their checks. What you mean? How does it affect?
Process the payments. They even saying it on the news. Like, what the deal?
That's a little fear mongering again, because again, you can have a reduction.
Okay. Hey, for the first time tonight, Orlando, I got to give you one of these. Come on, man. Listen, what you don't please fear mongering. Stop it, because that's just like, okay, here's the classic example. People were saying Project 2025 was fear mongering, but now we see since Trump is in office, he's bringing Project 2025 to fruition. It wasn't fear mongering; it was the truth. It was what happening.
Tell me what part of Project 2025 that actually was a bad thing.
Well, when you start talking about disrupting certain systems, I feel like when you put into effect legislation and laws that stop Medicaid for elderly Americans, people can't get their medication. Hold on. When you start to put in things, dismantling the Department of Education and all these kinds of things, public instruction, all these kinds of things, that's pretty much subjective. Because I feel like whether you have kids in school or not, or whether you support the way the American education system is set up, it depends on where you stand on that. But there's a lot of things in Project 2025 that are counterproductive to the people of America. And when they were saying that this is what he was going to do, the Republicans said that's fear mongering, but it turns out that it wasn't, because these are things that he's actually doing. He denied any kind of, I don't even know what that is. And he did that. But you see now that he's enforcing almost everything in Project 2025. So I just think don't say fear mongering, because I'm saying he's threatening to disrupt the Social Security system. That's not fear mongering. That's actually what's happening.
Well, I'll use another one then. It's hyperbole, because again, you're trying to say, well, if you're going to lay off these workers, then people are not going to get their checks. No, come on, man. No, that's not true at all.
So you telling me if they lay off 200,000 people, that's not going to affect the process of people getting paid?
Well, again, you're making the assumption that it would. We don't know that.
Man, you're making the assumption that it won't, and you're making the assumption that it won't. So we're doing the same thing, right?
Okay, so we could be in the same boat. But so the question is, who's going to believe you or going to believe me? Because again, as long as people get their checks. So we can go back again let's go back to the Department of Education. The Department of Education needs to be dismantled. It is a terrible department. It was never part of the original cabinet offices in the first place.
Okay.
So again, say, well, we're getting rid of that. That's a good thing. The downside of federal government is a good thing to put the power and the resources back to the states. That's what this country is founded on.
It's going to get privatized. It ain't coming back to the states. On the real, it's gonna get privatized. Like I said, Kev, I'm gonna send you that thing, and I hope you take time to watch it, because they was talking about like how Trump it's so many people that helped him get elected. You got the tech giants, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. Then you got the people. What's the crazy motherfucker, Steve Bannon? You got so many people that sat at the table with this man. There's so many people that he got to damn near please, man. It's deep, Kev. I'm gonna send it to you though. So he's sitting up there talking about, it's going back to the states. It's not going back to the states. It's gonna get privatized.
Let me get hold on. My chat room is chiming in. We got a little time. The chat room says, this is Ewok. He says Orlando would take a bullet for Trump. He's in a cult. He's worse than Byron Donaldson. He said Orlando wins the tap dancing award of the year, and he's proud of it. Orlando doesn't see anything wrong with his party. He will not submit to anything they do wrong. He's brainwashed as hell. Sonia Thrower said he is. Ewok said he's gonna get you a new shoe shine kit for your birthday. And then Sonia Thrower says Trump don't care about no way but his orange hair. Okay. So go ahead, Orlando. Go ahead. I just want to get the chat room's comments in.
Ewok is gonna always be, he's a funny guy. I'll leave it at that. But again, we can debate on the effectiveness of these federal departments and how effective have they been and how we can do better and how we can put money back into the state. And to Mr. Dion's point of they're going to remember privatizing, and privatizing is bad because of why. Dion is too consumed. He's Trump deranged. He's smoking the Trump pipe or whatever he's doing. He's over the top. Like, oh, privatizing is wrong. It's bad. Like, why would you say that? You want more federal government. Dion supports a Marxist idea of having more government. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. We should have a government, no doubt, but a government should not be the majoring, overburdensome figure or entity of any free society. That's wrong. And for to continue to say, oh, we need more federal agencies, we need more we need more government. Stop it, man. Stop it. Turn this over to industry, to individuals, maybe like Dion who drives the truck. He maybe have a better idea how to run the Department of Transportation. That may be better than having a department that's a bunch of bureaucrats running it. Again, let's stop acting as if government is the solution, all knowing and all being, and it's just great.
Well, I started this show off by saying we are currently in a holding pattern because we don't really know what's going to come from this. Like we're sitting here waiting to see what the impact of these tariffs is going to be. And even Trump said it's going to get rough and it's going to get tough because of the policies he's implementing. Now, once again, if you're going to find $100 billion in wasteful government spending and repurpose that to go back towards the people, we talked about them giving another lie that he told, but the real number was still astounding. $126 billion in aid to Ukraine. If we can just cut that in half, what's half of 126? About $59,000. I don't know. What's half of? What's about $62,000 a year? $62 billion. $62 billion. If we just cut that in half and say we're going to put $62 billion back into our own country, and that money actually got back to the people, then I would say, okay, that was great. But I think right now, what we see is like Dion and everybody's alluding to is Trump has affiliated themselves with fat cats and billionaires who we don't really believe this money's going to come back to us, right? We believe that this money will be, they'll figure out another way to feed themselves, and it will, like Reagan promised trickle down economics, and we seen how that kind of came. Like, yeah, it worked. It trickled down. All right.
Let's try, because what's been working, what's been going ain't working. So let's try something different. So let's stop trying to hold on to something we know ain't working, and let's try something different. How about give that a shot, Kev and Dion? How about give that a shot? Because what is going on ain't working.
Every Republican that got in the office, we just got out of a goddamn recession with George Bush. We headed for another one. That's why I be saying though, Republicans don't have no fucking policy that's beneficial to everyday people. I enjoyed, like I told Kev the other day when we was talking, I got an FHA loan. I loved it. I got student loans. I loved it. I know when I was laid off in 2008, guess what I got? Unemployment. I loved it. These are programs, and like I gave Kev earlier, a list of programs that Dems did. The Republicans ain't did shit. Nothing, Orlando. Anytime a Republican did it take a Democrat to get back. I'm not saying that.
He's going in and out. I don't know why he's going in and out.
Clean water. I don't want a private guy coming and being over the EPA. He don't give a fuck. You could give him a couple $1 million, let poison the water, like they did over there in Flint. I like breathing clean air. I want to be able to fly in a fucking airplane and not worry about colliding with another airplane. I want to be able to fucking drive down the street with the National Highway Transportation Safety Act, that people make sure the highways are safe, but we don't drive down the fucking street and the sinkhole open up. Man, I don't want to hear that. That's why I don't even know why I called back. Dude, get your blood pressure up. I'm about to mute myself because I'm working.
I just want to say this.
Don't get your blood pressure up.
I just want to say this. I don't disagree with you, Orlando, on that. We have some things that need to be repaired. And I said some of this stuff need to be blown up, and Kamar can testify to that. We don't have a problem with change. We don't have a problem with things being done to shake the system. Like I said, us demanding our rights as foundational Black Americans was a switch. It shook the system up. The March on Washington shook the system up. Like people said, "Oh my God, what's going on? Like this country is going crazy." Conservatives were all up in arms, like these niggers are trying to change the world. Change is welcome and it's needed a lot of times, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And so that's the biggest problem, is that we don't really trust that Trump is the one because of the way he's implementing these changes. Go ahead, Kamar, because we don't have that much time left. Go ahead, Kamar.
Well, I'm with you. I feel like, we always talk about change is needed every election. This is the first thing we say: change is needed. You know what I mean? Change is good. You know what I mean? Change can be good, but change can also be bad. So I just fear that it don't get worse. You see what I'm saying? But I'm with change. Let's see what happened. But I don't want the shit to get worse.
Yeah, I mean, they say sometimes it's got to get worse before it gets better, right? That type of thing. I understand that. I guess Trump's abrasive personality.
And just because it get worse don't mean it's going to get better.
That's true. His personality, him being very abrasive and being very dishonest a lot of times, and not really being genuine. Or Orlando said it was hyperbole. I don't. A lie is a lie is a lie to me. You could lie and say, "Well, okay, that was hyperbole." It's a lie, is what it was. Now, if you want to justify it and say, "Well, he's just joking around," he's lying. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It's only March. So there's a lot of things that are about to come down that we're going to wait and see, because Orlando, in 6 months, if that money has not been, the money that they found has not been repurposed and directed back into our economy for the people, if his policies have caused calamities and this country is in dire straits, then we're going to have another conversation. We're going to revisit this conversation, and I'm going to ask you the same questions and say, hey, explain it. But shout out to you for calling in, getting your perspective out there, even though, on my platform, it's not the most popular perspective. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm the party pooper. I poop on both parties. I do not like Trump. I think Trump is a racist, but I don't see the direct assault on my people yet. But as a delineator, as a person who supports the delineation movement, I think it's important for us to circle the wagons and prepare for whatever he has in store for us, or whatever this country has in store for us, because that's what we've done the entire time we've been here. We've persevered through whatever this country's thrown at us, no matter who the president was, governor was, mayor was. Black people going to be all right, because we're going to persevere. So at the end of the day, I just hope my people understand that it's more important right now for us to find the strength and the power within us and not be so concerned about everybody else. If we've made any mistake, one of the biggest mistakes we've made throughout history is always being worried about other people, always being concerned about trying to help other people, and not really being focused on us and identifying who us is. And that's why I say the foundational Black American delineation movement is so important, because we are self-identifying, and we are identifying as Americans. We are identifying as Americans whose grandmothers, grandfathers, great-grandmothers, great-great-grandfathers built this country. We fought in every war. We've supported this country in every direction it's been in. And so we need to look inside and identify us, that group of people, and say, give us our just due, whether that be reparations, whether that be tax breaks, whether that be what they would call handout programs, whatever it is. You can't give Black people nothing in this country that we don't deserve. Whatever we get in this country, we deserve it. And so that's the gist of it. So whether you want to be a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't really bother me. Kamar says you can say anything you want about Trump, why you voted for him and what you like, but just don't tell me he's not racist. And so that's where we're going to kind of end off at. Kamar, I do want to say, I want to ask you, do you got anything coming up this weekend? Because we won't be back. This is the Wednesday show. We won't be back until Monday.
Yeah, I'll be at the House of Vitality all week, but then Saturday, I got a vegan restaurant coming down doing a pop-up at the Sherman Phoenix. Just Veggies will be here. And I'm gonna tell you, they bring a hell of a crowd every time they come around. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all like vegan food or you interested in trying something, Orlando, you just said you was vegan. You know what I mean? We got a vegan restaurant coming all the way from Madison. You know what I'm saying? So you got to come check them out, Orlando. Come on down.
Okay. Orlando, I want to give you a chance to, put a cap on it because you did come on the platform, and I invite Black Republicans and conservatives alike. So do you got anything you want to just say before we get out of here?
Well, it's always a pleasure with you brothers, man. I appreciate the opportunity. That's you are going to always be a place I call home, and that I can come and, disagree without being disagreeable. I definitely may not be able to make it this weekend tomorrow, but I'm going to have to come check you out during the week because I definitely want to do some more vegan. I just, I think that what Dion misses is from some of the programs that he say are so important. Republicans go on those programs and those budgets also, just for a fact. But no, man, I appreciate the opportunity, Kev, and I respect that you are the party pooper. I hope you also was going this hard at Joe Biden as well and Kamala.
Always.
Always. I'm back.
Always.
If you're back, I'll be back.
I'm an equal opportunity ass whooper. I don't discriminate. Dion, you got something you want to drop in here before I go into my closing monologue or what?
Yes, sir. I'm jumping on that highway tomorrow night, headed down to the great state of Tennessee. I'm not stopping at no gas station that said they for Trump. I hope I'm going to Memphis, God damn it, the city of the hard rock where the black people at. And I'm going to hang out. I'll be down on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll be back Monday. Then shit, I'm going to be wrapping it up at my jobs. Because March 14th is my last day at both of my jobs. And I start the city March 17th. So I'll be off a little early that day. I could maybe get a link sent to me or something because I got to see how this shift going to work. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going out of town, man, going down to Memphis, going to eat some good food, walk on Beale Street, do a little shopping, stop at Boomland, go over to what part of that is Mississippi? I'll be going to South Haven, Mississippi, Tunica, Mississippi. Represent Milwaukee. Murder Mill always. I'm gonna have some Milwaukee shit on, represent. You know what I'm saying? And that's really about it.
Okay, so this is the thing we want to close on tonight. It's a point of delineation is our money, watching our money, realizing our spending power. I don't know how true it is because it was such a big deal on Monday when we came in about the blackout, economic blackout last Friday. And I don't know how factual this is, but supposedly Target lost billions of dollars. If they did, it's a great point to be made. But more importantly, we as foundational Black Americans have to be more conscious about what we do with our dollar, because you may not respect us because our numbers may not be as great as yours, but you're going to respect our spending power. You're going to respect the economic power that we bring to the table. We are consumers. We don't own a lot, so we buy a lot. And so that is the position that we take. And we have to start looking at things that are counterproductive to our community. Like I noticed that they're coming out with this report now that some of the hair that the sisters are putting in there, the weave that they're putting in their hair is contains carcinogens and is cancer causing. And there has been a movement for a very long time for sisters doing their hair naturally and taking care of their hair naturally and maintaining their hair naturally. And I just want to big up all the sisters who've invested in that, and who have said, hey, you know what, I'm going to put all these chemicals, which, the level of breast cancer in the Black community for Black women is crazy. And it has to do with some of these cosmetic things. They're putting all these chemicals on their skin and in their hair and all this kind of stuff. And it's because of a perceived standard of beauty that was really pretty much established by the media and not us, because most of us brothers can appreciate sisters in their natural form. So that is a part of delineation too, acknowledging our sisters, acknowledging our women, acknowledging the mothers in our community and lifting them up so that they don't have to try and go and put 10 pounds of glue in their head to let them know, baby, you ain't got to wear no contacts. You ain't got to do all that for me. Just be your natural self. I think that's very important. And that's a part of delineation. So we need to empower each other. We need to lift each other up. I know it sounds corny. I know it sounds like I'm dreaming, but it's very much possible. And so a lot of times when you run into a brother, or you coming into a place, or you're leaving out of a place, and we do that head nod with each other. How you doing, brother? What's going on? Sometimes just doing that is enough to let another brother know, hey man, I'm not your enemy, and vice versa. We got to engage in that behavior more, man. We got to stop looking at each other sideways. We got to stop really making each other out to be the enemy, because when you run into a real enemy, you can't recognize them. So we got to really delineate, man. We got to self-identify, and we got to love ourselves, man. That's the most important thing. But the biggest thing you got to do, you got to be a man or a woman of action. Simply because if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution, you already know your ass is a coon. Peace and love, man. Y'all share the show, share the show, share the show. We'll be back Monday, man. Shout out to Orlando. Shout out to Dion. Shout out to Ewok.
Yes,
shout out to
sir.
Kamar in the House of Vitality, man. Y'all go get y'all some elderberry. I see y'all when I see y'all, man. Peace.
I love, bro.
Peace.